You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
Have you ever played Destiny with a fellow Guardian and thought to yourself, I wonder what their life is like? Questions like these spark conversation, friendship, and community. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 295, almost there, of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, I have my co-host, Kingsleymac, with me again this week. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of new stuff in Destiny. My head is swimming, that's for sure. Lots to do. We'll get into that. We'll get into that part. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise. And we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well, like in our roundtable episode next week. But we have been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now. And as the game has evolved, we've evolved as well. So that means we do live versions of our show on YouTube and now on our Discord stage channel, and if not already, soon on my Twitch channel, ToddtheGatr. If you want to go over there and give me a follow over there, that'd be great. But I'm going to try to multi-stream to all three of these platforms at once because my software, OBS software, allows me to do that with this latest update. So hopefully everything is going to work good. So we'll have to just see. But if you want to, find out more about our community, you can go to discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. If you want to join our community. We've had a ton of people, Kingsley, joining this week. I mean, a ton of people. And actually, I put one of our podcast clips out there. I think it was about crafting the one of the support frame. Remember that where I talked about the support frame and how we crafted it in live and stuff? Man, I got like thousands of views on that. So I was really surprised. Every now and then something blows up like that. No rhyme or reason. It's just the way YouTube operates. But if you guys of course want to listen on all your podcast apps out there, that is available every week as well. And if you want to go and listen to our audio episodes on demand, you can go to guardiandowncast.com to do that. In this episode, we'll start with the show with our usual weekly catch up, and next Kingsley and I will share our initial impressions of Act 2 Guardian games and the new Court of Blades. Of course, we'll go over any pertinent information in This Week in Destiny blog from Bungie. I'll be sharing yet another Warlock build that might be able to be used on other characters as well, but I put it on my Warlock, so we'll see. But I've only tried it on my Warlock. I'll go step by step and we'll build it together tonight. Finally, we have some questions from our community and any questions from our live chat as well as they pop up. It's another packed info show this week on this very nice 67-degree night here in Central Florida. Have to put the weather report in there every time for FUD. Oh, and we have our favorite uncle from across the pond stopping by with a 2-part Scum Death Corner as well, right before we leave tonight. So if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, Maximo here, one of the other Todds. You're listening to the Guardian Downcast, home of the coolest Discord group on the frickin' planet. Word.
All right, Mr. Kingsleymac, let's catch up in our week here. We don't have to talk about specific things to the story or Act 2, but anything else outside of that? What you been up to this week, man?
Not that anyone probably cares that much, but I'm on a new work and my AV computer where I do my podcasting and stuff. I got a new MacBook Air M4. They just came out a couple weeks ago, and I was up for a new model. And kind of nice to just have a better camera built in and some things like that. So I'm not using my iPhone anymore. But I was thinking about doing some upgrades on my PC also. There's a new video card I want. Mine's still really a good video card, but I just geek out on that type of stuff and get this new 4K monitor that I want. But I'm going to hold on that. Probably going to be spending a fair amount of money going to Vegas within the next month or so. There's so many things I like to do there that I'll be dropping a lot because I want to see at least one Cirque du Soleil show. I want to see at least a couple other things. And
great show.
It gets expensive, so
it is.
Trying to budget and stuff.
Nice.
But no, that's pretty much it. I can't think of too much else extracurricular. I've been busy at the beginning of the week work-wise, and then finally today slowing down a little bit. It's just random, not any particular reason why one way or the other. I'm still a little concerned or worried if some companies might be I heard of a couple people getting laid off, and then I wonder too if like how funding will be, because a lot of the businesses I work with deal with funding. They maybe haven't gone to market on something. It's not like all my businesses, but I hope that people won't be spending less on business services going forward, but that's too early to say there. And
no comment.
We're just kind of in the spring rainy season right now where, I mean, we haven't gotten really any snow this winter anyways. I've kind of mentioned that how it's been warmer than usual in the West the last few winters. The mountains have gotten tons of snow. That's where you need it. You don't have to have snow in the valleys, but typically we should, but we haven't. But this whole week's been like spring rain showers, like, 50s or 60s, and then no chance of snow really. Actually, tonight I think we may get like a skiff of a half an inch just in overnight hours, but it'll like melt, once the day starts again tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's your live weather report.
There we go, Fudd. You got 2 weather reports in one tonight.
Yeah, I kind of, to me, like the weather, the patterns is like more boring, but I always geek out with like the maps. I've posted maps before in the Discord. I should do that again with like the temperature. And when they colorize it and make it look really nice, that brings a remembrance. I always love computer stuff. And back when I was in high school, I think it was my junior year, it might have been my sophomore year, but in my physics class, we were picking a project to do, and I decided to do it on weather patterns. And I used a computer, and it was kind of, not a lot of people were doing that back then. This was probably like
showing your age,
93-ish, I'm guessing. 93.
Yep. Very early internet.
Yeah. Well, no, the internet's technically been around since the 70s, but no one really used it until the 90s. It wasn't commercialized, but it didn't get mass used until 2000 to 2005.
Sure.
So yeah, in the mid 90s, only the nerds were doing it. And
Dial up.
I had to I went to NOAA's website back then.
You mean the NOAA that's been dismantled now? Hey, we like surprise hurricanes. What the heck? I'm not going to get political, but this is, man, it's a wild time.
We kind of already did, right?
It's a wild time right now.
Luckily, there's a lot more websites now. You can get weather maps and things. But back then, I think that was really the only thing on the internet. And what I did was I downloaded. Back then, they didn't have like the moving patterns and stuff on the internet. You would just download images. So I would download the cloud cover, and then it showed what the forecasted one was. And I download that, and I download the one the next 6 hours. And then I used my computer to put them together to kind of animate it. And I showed it in class on how, hey, people, this is how you can track weather. And it's going to be used more in the future because I'm really good at guessing
I love it.
Internet trends and things like that. And the teacher was so impressed. And I had fun because it was like this, even though I'm a very logical, technical guy, I'm very visual too. So like I like pretty looking things. So I was able to take this geeky stuff, but visually put together the different cloud covers and animate it myself and then show it to the class. It was mind blowing for back then in 93, but now we just take that stuff for granted.
I bet you watch those infographic YouTube channels. I bet the bar graphs and stuff like, You know, where they show like,
an example again?
it's like bars of the top movies of the year, and you see them shift in real time. You know, the bars and the, like popular.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen those yet,
man.
but I might be interested.
I'll send you a link because I follow it. I get actually, alerts to it, and they always have something out. It's like, you know, the size of everyone's army in real time from 1900 to 1975 or something. And it'll go it'll go month by, like day by day, and it'll just like rotate. It's the coolest thing to watch. It's just, you're watching data. Yeah. You're watching data in a picture form. It's the coolest thing.
No, yeah, that those things are nice, but I like to take it even a step further. That's another reason why, even growing up and playing like the original NES and Super Mario and everything, I was like, this is cool, but I want even more. Where most people were like, they couldn't even imagine what more would be. They couldn't imagine video games getting better graphics. They couldn't imagine whatever. But I was like, I knew that there could be more just from seeing the real world and how much clarity there was. I'm like, I'm sure on computers we can get more clarity eventually. And so I've always been more on the side of graphics are important. And again, why I like exploration in games, because it's visually pleasing. I see new things. I interact with new things. And that segues into the last thing I'll just talk about this week is still really enjoying playing Split Fiction, playing it with the wife. Such a fun game. Like I mentioned last week, it was getting like 10 out of 10 reviews and everything. And we are just a little over halfway through it. We hit it for like an hour to 3 every couple days or so. And we're just having a lot of fun with it. It's such a great game. Anyone, even in the Discord, that wants to play that but hasn't bought it or doesn't have someone to play it with, I'll play it with you after I finish it with my wife, because what you do is whoever owns a copy of it, you get an unlimited friends pass also. That's cool. You can only play with one person at a time, but then when you're done, you can invite someone else to be your friend and then play with them. And the other person doesn't have to buy it as long as one of the two people that wants to play together. You
just send them like a download code and they download the game on their whatever console or whatever they're using.
It's even easier than that when you go to, and this is cross play also, so it doesn't matter if you're on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. I have mine hosted on PC. My wife's on PlayStation, but on whatever platform you want to play, if you know you're not going to buy it, if someone's going to invite you, when you go to this store to get it, there's the option of purchase or is the option of Friends Pass version. You just download it, and it's the same game, but when you first open it, it's just not unlocked until someone invites you in the game, and then you don't have to get the invite ahead of time. You can, but it's just easy peasy, and it works really well.
You ought to stream it with you and your wife. Just stream, do a quick stream, let people know what it's like.
Maybe.
Okay. Food for thought.
Yeah. I'm not a big streamer, but
it's fun to do just to show the community every now and then. But like my raid fails. Yeah,
I liked streaming. Sometimes when we would raid, I wouldn't mind streaming in Discord, but I just not ever thinking I'm going to do like Twitch or YouTube. And I only stream if someone wants to watch something, but I'm not doing it to interact with audience because they can be a distraction, and I don't care. I'm not here to grow or anything like that. But
I mean,
no shade to people that like that, but that's not anything that I'm going to do.
I mean, the basis of ToddtheGatr YouTube channel, if you go back in my deep archive, I've got like 1,200 videos on that on that channel over like, I don't know.
Zombie.
10 years or something. And it's crazy. I mean, I would stream just so my friends who didn't play Destiny or didn't play Battlefield or whatever could join, could jump in and see what's going on with the game. That's the only reason I did it. Never had a reason to build a channel, but then, like I said, when I was on the Two Titans and a Hunter, it just came to me. I said, I need to create some content for new players because the new player experience sucks in this game. So I need to create some kind of videos to help them out. And here I am. It's I mean, we still grow every week, so it's awesome. But well, let's see. As far as my week in, let's start with entertainment because my wife and I, we didn't watch any movies this week because she has had something to do every night at school. It's cranking up, man. It's spring's cranking up. She's got science nights, and she's had all kinds of school functions she's had to go. She went to the theme parks with my daughter this week because we all have annual passes to Universal. So I've hardly seen her this week. And in fact, tonight we went and grabbed something at the local joint just to get some dinner together and talk. But we still plan on going back to see my dead friend Zoe. You know, we got interrupted last time because her mom got hurt. But there's a new movie coming out next week. I'm telling you, this is a movie we've been waiting for a long time called Black Bag. It is a soda.
Out tonight, tomorrow?
I think
it's next week.
No, next week. 17th, I think. Okay. 17th.
Okay.
And it is a spy thriller. It already has a 93% from like 60 movie critic reviews. Already has 93%. And we already knew this was going to be good because it's a Soderbergh film. And Soderbergh just puts some great movies together. Great stories and character development, that's what I look for. Jimmy Rayner. There we go. How you doing, man? So I have been watching I just want to let everybody know 2 previously reviewed movies are coming out streaming this week. Our favorite film, Heretic, is now available on HBO Max. And remember I talked about a movie that really surprised me called Better Man? It was the Robbie Williams story, but they showed his body in an 8 form. That is available today on Paramount TV. And let me tell you, that was my comeback movie for 2024. It was the most surprising movie I've seen. It was so good, but didn't do well at the movie theater because I just don't think they marketed it wrong or something. Something was wrong. But I'm telling you, that movie you do not want to miss. It's on Paramount TV if you have that service. Both will be. I got them both on my list. I'm gonna watch them again because they were that good. Also mentioned that Andor season 2 will be out on Disney on April 22nd. And I know I said that last week for our Star Wars nerds out there, but I also wanted to mention that it has a really cool release schedule this time around. Every week, 3 episodes at a time are going to be released. So 3 on April 22nd, 3 on April 29th, 3 on May 6th, and 3 on May 13th. 12 episodes total for Andor season 2. This is probably the most excited I've been for a streaming series in a long time. And it's Star Wars, dude. I mean, they did it so well. So I did start watching Dr. Odyssey on Hulu. It's also on ABC originally. I have to say.
Is it back? Have you watched it at all or not?
No, I know season 1's over. I'm catching up. Exactly. So
I love that show.
I started watching. I think I'm on the 3rd or 4th episode now. I have to say, it's like a mix of The Love Boat and House. Wouldn't you agree? Like The Love Boat, you get that warm feeling.
Love Boat that much.
Well,
I think Grey's Anatomy and House or something. Well, they're both doctor shows. Never mind.
Mainly because of Love Boat. Every week when a new Love Boat episode came out, and I know this is before any of you guys are probably alive. It's fine. That's fine. I'm old. But every week you would have a star, like a guest star that would come onto the boat. And that's the way it is. You have this grand entrance to the boat, which is like a circular, an aquarium with like saltwater fish and stuff all around it. I don't know if that's real or not, but you always see who's stepping on the boat, the main characters, and you always kind of get a preview of who's going to be the main characters this week. And, it's pretty good. I love the characters. I love the 2 nurses and the doctor. You know, it's a trio that all, work together, like kind of like The Pit on HBO. It's like an emergency room situation where they have to figure out what's going on. Why is this person doing this? And it's pretty crazy. So one guy they rescue that falls overboard. I don't know how you fall overboard off of a damn cruise ship, but you must be an idiot. He was on Molly, I think. But anyway, but yeah, it's like they're trying to diagnose these mysterious ailments while on this luxury cruise liner. So far, I'm liking it. And I mean, who's not going to not like Don Johnson? I mean, come on. The guy's a legend. He's very.
I think the bigger pull is Joshua Jackson, but I get what you're saying.
I know. I like Joshua Jackson too. Now, JD Kent, if you don't know what Love Boat is, just Google it. All I can tell you is just Google it.
You don't have to know what Love Boat is. You did a good job of explaining it.
Okay. It's the 70s. Well, it's actually, 70s and 80s version of what we're watching now on Dr. Odyssey, I think. Watching Severance, just watched the last episode of Severance. Man, that show is just so weird. Paradise, I saw the season finale. Yes, it landed well. I think JD Kent told me that last week. The finale episode, I did see it. It really was exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes because I think they've been bought for a second season. I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. That's on Hulu. I saw, on Peacock, I saw the trailers final season 3 finale and it turned out okay. I mean, it wasn't what I thought, but I always root for the villains. I always root for the traitors to to get away with it. But, because it's such a hard job being a trader on that show, trying to keep your cool and not people seeing through you as you're talking at the round table. But, yeah, it was really good. So I got to wait another year probably for another season. Suits LA still's not landing really good for me. I'm giving it a chance. The Tom Hanks New Nature show, The Americas, try to watch bits of that every week, and it's really good. I mean, the cinematography, like I said last week, is really good. And of course, after the show tonight, I'm going to watch The Pit on HBO Max. Super, super good show. Really good show. Very dramatic. Gaming wise, of course, it's Destiny and Heresy. I did play the revised competitive Crucible mode with my buddy Warcry. We finished our 3 games, and I did get a decent drop this week of the Redrix S-Stock. I got a Headseeker Encore roll, which isn't the perfect roll for PvP, but I'm going to try it out. I'm going to hang on to that one. Again, I want to reiterate, the weapon everyone should be going for in Crucible is the new Heavy Burst Void Pulse Rifle. That has some amazing rolls for PvE and PvP. And I actually used it in the Garden of Salvation raid that we did with the community this last Saturday. That is streamed live on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it back. I was using the, what was I using? I think I was using my repulsor brace destabilizing rounds, and it's going to be on the Warlock build that I'm going to talk about tonight. So I can't wait to tell you guys about this Warlock build. It's pretty crazy too. So we'll be doing actually another run this Saturday night. Again, I'm trying to get those red bars so I can craft the, raid weapons, especially the fusion rifle, which I love. But I love all the rifles in Garden of Salvation. I love the look. I love the sound of them. Even though they're not the most OP weapons, they're just so much fun to use. So I'm looking forward to doing that again this Saturday night at 10 p.m., I think. And I'll stream it again, guys, for you guys. I don't know about fondue, JD Kent, on this boat. I'm sure they have everything. It's a very luxurious ocean liner. Just take my word at that. I didn't do trials this weekend. I was busy with the family all weekend. We went shopping for a camper. Long story short, we got a camper. We're going to store it, on my son's property, the back of my son's property. And we bought a little bit more camper than we wanted to, but this camper was such a good deal. We just couldn't pass it up. So, I'll maybe post a picture in the Discord of it or something, but, we did get that, for several reasons. I'm not going to get into here. It gets too personal, but, that's what I've been busy doing all this week. And I got to give a shout out to our local restaurant here. They have a location in Gotha, Florida, which is right off the turnpike in I would say South Central Florida. And then they have another location in New Smyrna Beach, which that's right below Daytona Beach. If you're looking on the map of Florida, on the east coast of Florida. This is the coolest restaurant I've been to in a long time. It's called Yellow Dog Eats. It's a barbecue joint. It has super unique craft barbecue, and its main dish that everyone likes to get when they're there. It's like an open-faced, loaded barbecue sandwich. And I got something called the smoker, the Old Smoky or something like that. It was so good. So good. And they use a lot of really good pork in there. And it's just a really good pork barbecue sandwich. I think I got a slice of the coconut cream cake, which I never get coconut cake. It just looks so good. It just giving them a shout out. No, they're not a sponsor, but if you are ever in the Central Florida area or New Smyrna Beach area, look up Yellow Dog Eats. If you want some really good barbecue, and it's like a converted old house that has like an open air, big giant porch that you sit on. And, it's just really cool. The memorabilia, and there's a dinosaur head like sticking out of the wall, and, one of those wacky restaurants like that. So, but anyway, just want to give them a shout out. As far as the rest of Destiny stuff, we're going to get into that in a little bit here. But anything else, Kingsley, before we move on? Just want to double check. Oh, you had a story you wanted to mention, didn't you, about PlayStation Pro?
Sure.
PlayStation 5 Pro. You told me about this. I read the article.
Yes.
And this is exciting, man, but you're the tech guy. So
yes, I'm the tech guy, but this is stuff that, I probably understood what it meant more, but everyone who has a PS5 Pro can be excited by this. Basically what's happening is Sony says it's going to add AMD's FSR 4 upscaler to the PS5 Pro. Now, anyone who doesn't know, Sony, PlayStation's used AMD graphics cards for quite a while. I think that even in the PS4, the PS3, who knows? But in the PS5, the one that they use is equivalent to about like a 6800, or some would say like a 7700. It's a good one. It's not the best. Like the card in my PC is still better, but this card is going to get even better because what they're doing is they're adding something called FSR4, which is really only on the newest cards, even in the AMD line right now. And all it really means is that there's going to be better upscaling resolution going forward. Upscaling is one of these things, in case you're not aware, where a lot of systems will do it. PCs will do it also if you want, although you don't have to. And what you do is you can get better performance if you actually, I mean, Destiny does this in Crucible too, where if you want 4K to work without slowing down too much, like if you want the high frame rate, what you do is the game actually first outputs it like a lower, like a 1440 or a 1080, and then it like fake upscales it to 4K. So it looks close to 4K, but it's not really. Like if you were to compare side by side, you could notice some differences.
Right.
But with FSR4, it's going to be even better. A lot of games will have what they call a quality or performance mode.
Right.
So if you pick quality mode, the fake 4K, when it's being upscaled, will look even better than it does right now. And then when you do performance mode, you'll get even more frames. So like games that couldn't do 120 FPS or games that potentially want to do even more, now we'll be able to do that on the PS5 Pro. So I think this is pretty impressive because I don't have a PS5 Pro. I don't need it, but because again, my PC is still better. But and I have a PS5 in general because I like exclusive games and stuff. But for anyone who has that or in the PlayStation ecosystem and considering getting a PS5 Pro, this is, I think, a really big thing. You don't realize how big this could be for making some future games look better.
Yeah, it's the future of their gaming. I mean, they're what do they? I think they said there was some project. They're in a long-term project with AMD on this called Amethyst, I think it was called. I was reading your article. Project. So they're in it for the long haul to transform all their games, all their future console games into this. And yeah, I'm ready. I already got the PS5 Pro. I'm ready to go, man. Yeah, I love PS5. It's been a great console for me. I'm knock on wood. You can't hear that. I hopefully nothing goes wrong with it when I use it tomorrow. But yeah, it's when you showed me that article at first, I was like, huh? But then I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here. They're actually improving more their PSSR into something even better, which I was happy to hear about that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I didn't care to get in all the technical details, but since
Right.
you mentioned the PSSR, that was Sony's version of upscaling, but
using AI.
technically AMD's is going to be better, and it's hard to get FSR. We're at FSR4 these days. FSR is a similar thing like DLSS, like what people talk about at the NVIDIA and all that stuff. And just the fact that Sony and AMD worked out a way to get actual FSR4 on the PlayStation is pretty cool. It'll be much better.
Speaking of Sony, did you know that Sony is the second largest company in Japan now? I don't know if you knew that. I saw an article on this.
I always thought they were the first largest in Japan.
No, they're not. They're right here. Second largest company in Japan, $153.87 billion.
Do we know who the largest company is?
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I think it's going to be, they talk about how they made Walkmans and all that. Yes, we know that. Thank you.
Toyota?
Toyota. Toyota's number one.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Toyota's the biggest company in Japan right now. Which
Yeah, I guess that
Toyota.
makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, I thought I'd mention that while we're talking about Sony, but yeah, I'm very impressed with what Sony's done, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future. By the way, I was wearing my you can't see it, but I told you I was going to wear my Sentry jersey. I got that on tonight. This is a jersey. Since we're talking about jerseys they were giving away, I'm probably going to get another jersey because I love their jerseys are really good quality. I mean, this is a really good quality jersey. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. Okay, well, I guess it's time. Let's get into Act 2, man. I think that's what people came to listen to tonight. So we'll do that right after this.
Hey, this is Mr. Monkey, not Killer Monkey, not Monocle Monkey, Mr. Monkey. Get your bounties done. You're listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right, Act 2 of Destiny 2 Heresy is out this week, and I gotta say, I'm so glad I didn't play at Reset because it had bugs all day long. I was watching my Twitter feed from Destiny Help Desk, and oh my god, there was even the new 9 activity was popping up, and people were playing it and getting like half-finished guns. Did you see that? Astacross even put a video up. He was playing contest mode on one of the dungeons.
Well, they talk about that stuff in the twid, so we'll save that.
Okay, all right, my bad. I didn't see the twid yet, so
no worries. It wasn't all day. It was like 3 hours. I was able to hop in it when they fixed it, and
I jumped in that night after eating dinner and stuff, and sat down and played for a few hours. So I mainly played Guardian games my first night, and then last night I got back in. I said, "Oh man, I got to get caught up on the story because I don't think I'm fully caught up."
Guardian games first,
dude. It's Guardian games. Come on, it's one of my favorite activities. Anyway,
exactly. It's boring.
Anyway, go ahead, Kingsley. What were your first impressions, and how did you get started this week?
Yeah, well, I did go to Guardian Games quickly after because of that new activity, and I'll get to that, my impressions afterwards. But of course, I'm going to do the actual new stuff first. That came out. It's interesting. I like it in a lot of ways, and then in other ways, I'm like, well, it's not as cool as Act 1. I mean, it seems like like every single episode, Act 1 always has the most stuff, and then when we get to Act 2 and Act 3, they're not as new and changing things and cool of activities as Act 1. And that's, again, why I'm really worried what's going to happen with Act 3. We still don't know that much about it other than just a strike coming out. And then the other thing was going to be the Dungeon Trial of the Nine stuff, which came out now anyway. So what the hell else are we going to get in Act 3? But anyways, we'll figure that out later. Right. But Act 2 is interesting. So, of course, I was excited to hop in it because we have the Court of Blades. That's what it's called, right?
Yep,
and
that's it.
Which is reminiscent of Court of Oryx, if you played in Destiny 1. And, there's some story to it. I won't give too many spoilers, but just in general, there's going to be 2 weeks of story. There's only 3 weeks in this act. So I guess that makes sense, although not really. They could have just done 1 week. But so you get halfway through the quest steps. It's like 9 out of 18 is like how far you can get in the story quest steps. But they did some things that I was kind of impressed with.
Okay.
And then other aspects I wish it was a little bit different. It kind of brings you in right away to Court of Blades to experience it.
Okay.
Court of Blades is pretty cool. I like it. I like that it's shorter, but I kind of don't really like as much that we go to these separate 3 arenas and that there's only 3. I feel like, and I know if we were just to stay in that central Court of Oryx area in the Hall of Souls, that would maybe feel constraining for Destiny 2 vibes. That's what it was in Destiny 1, people. If you never played it, like all the enemies and bosses came out in that little area by the stairs and by the portal, and you weren't going through a portal to somewhere else. You played just in the court. And so it's kind of a little jarring where, like, we're used to, like, Hive and Taken and all this stuff, but now we're in the Dreadnought just for a little bit, but then we go through a portal to these other areas, and then I kind of feel taken out of it. Like, it doesn't really feel like Dreadnought anymore. It feels like we're just somewhere else.
Funny you should say that, because when I first played it, of course, that's the first thing they send you into in Act 2. Court of Blades, go, and your matchmaking, just like that. The first time I ran it, I forgot to go through the portals. I was like, I'm waiting for the bosses to come out of the portal, and I'm like, and the 2 guys I was running with, they're pulling me in. I'm like, what's going on here? I said, I got to go in the portal. Okay, sorry, continue.
No worries. And they did show us that kind of in the preview, but I just didn't really care or put 2 and 2 together enough to realize how much I wouldn't really like it. It's still like a really nuanced, weird, unique, minor quirk. I don't care that much. It can be a little confusing to people the first times you're running it, so I do want to explain a couple of the basics, because I think, I'm really big with user interface stuff, again, being a techie guy, and I'm not a designer, but I appreciate designers, and user interface is important to me because people can get confused if there's not a good user interface. And I don't know why the hell they're doing this, but when you go in, you have the little hive statue to the left and to the right, not the ones in the hallway, but when you're down below.
Yeah, I couldn't access
they have a hive
them.
statue left and right, but then they have an A and a B. Like, that's confusing people because the A and B doesn't mean anything.
I didn't know what to do.
Well, you don't do anything. I'll tell you what you're supposed to do is you look at they're basically they're augments, and then there's another word, not punishment, but there's like a word that's a synonym to punishment. And
Penalty?
what you do is you look. Yeah, that's not that word either. I forget. If someone sees it, you can write in the chat. I was watching a video on it earlier. But what you do is you go near those statues. You don't have to walk up to them because, again, you don't interact or do anything with them. But if you go near them and look at them and move your view, you see what the different augments are. And the augments are basically the special mechanics that you have to do in the encounter. Now, here's the thing. Most people haven't really been looking at those or paying attention, and you can usually get through the encounters anyways, but there will be times where if you didn't look at that, you may be thinking, why is this boss immune for longer than I think he should be? Well, you should have looked out there and seen that one of the things says boss's shield only goes down with like void damage or something. And if you didn't see that ahead of time,
I couldn't. I was getting pulled in I went over to look at it, and the guy's already running through. It's just like a reason I hate running strikes.
There's 30 seconds. You can look at it, but if you don't do it right away, you're going to get pulled. So there is time to look at it. But now they do kind of show you those augments, to be fair, when you're in the encounter on your upper left corner of the screen.
Right.
But there's so many things going on. I really recommend looking at them ahead of time.
Okay.
So there's two at first, one on the A side, one on the B side. Again, I don't know what the hell they're labeling A and B for. There seems to be no purpose. Again, when you put icons like that, people are assuming you're supposed to go up and do something, right? Why is there an A and a B? But there's nothing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and don't step in the circles until you're ready to, like Tajo says, Todd. When you're looking, they can't pull you in if you haven't stepped in the circle. There's 30 to 40 seconds of being able to look at all the augments and do, and then go behind, which I'll explain in a second, to do your buffs and stuff. But that tells you all the things to do.
Okay.
So there's two at first, one on each side, and then after the second time going in, there's 4 total. That's kind of interesting and odd too. I don't know why they just start with 2 total at first, and then it's always just 4 after that. I don't know. They should have done maybe 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So the whole thing's kind of a little weird there. I don't think like the design was the best, but whatever. You get used to it.
Right.
But what you do is you go and you do an encounter. Fast is the name of the game. This isn't like timed like encounters are timed, but there's an overall 10-minute timer. So if you're really slow on one of the encounters, you just won't be able to do as many going forward. So speed is still the name of the game. Kill everything as fast as you can, because the more things you kill, of course, the higher levels you'll get to, the better the rewards, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
When you come back after a little mini encounter, the timer stops, but then there's a secondary timer for like that 40 seconds I was telling you about, where you can use that opportunity to look at the augments again on the statues, and go behind you and purchase the upgrades. Now, how that works, and that's in the hallway, like the 8 hive statues.
Right.
And so you'll see people, I think that's a little awkward too, because you have to like jump behind you to do your upgrades.
That was confusing.
Whatever. Now, how you get those upgrades is by doing the encounters and doing them well, like passing off the augments and the different mechanics, or even just killing bosses. By boss kills or doing the extra credit little things will give you little level ups on your rune tier system, and you can eventually get to level 1, 2, or 3. You're not really worrying about collecting anything. You're just, however good you're doing, when you finish an encounter, you'll come back and you'll see in your lower left-hand corner, it'll either say you're at tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3. So if you're only at tier 1, and if you go back to those statues, you can only purchase, go figure, tier 1 upgrades.
Right.
So anything that says tier 1, if it's one you like, you can get it. You don't have to purchase upgrades. It's sometimes better to hold on to that, wait till you get to tier 2 or tier 3, then go and purchase something.
Okay.
The other reason why you may want to wait too is because let's say you have like a tier 2 level up and you don't like any of the tier 2s and you purchase a tier 1, Well, it gets rid of all of it. It's not like you can purchase 2 tier 1s. Even if you're on tier 2 and if you purchase a tier 1, once you do that, it's all gone.
Right.
So really think it through. Use those 40 seconds to look at all the upgrades at the statues. And then that's probably priority number 1. And then priority number 2 is look at the augments on the side statues, the A and the B. And then even if you don't look at those augments ahead of time, then when you go in the encounter, try to look at your upper left-hand corner of your screen because it'll tell you what to do. Now, I think the encounter is pretty cool. I like how there's a good variety of bosses and mechanics. I just don't love necessarily the interface and just the 3 arenas, and we're always getting pulled in. I don't know. What else do you think? Do you think it's something you'll do much?
Kingsley, everything went so fast. I mean, because the guys in front of me, I don't know if they were just like super hardcore players or not.
You probably only run it like 2 times total or something.
About that. Yeah, about that. Yeah. Because I ran it just to progress the story because I was trying to get caught up on the story, and I was like,
Once
okay.
It requires you,
yeah. So when I first ran it, the buffs you were talking about, the additions, I didn't know anything about that. I mean, and standing in the circles, I thought everyone was waiting for me to do it, so I jumped in the circle. But there was no time to look around for buffs or.
There is if you don't go in the circle.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you, but you don't have to feel stressed. You look at the stuff before you go in the circle.
But wait a minute. So you look at the statue down in the Court of Blades, and then you have to jump back up at the gargoyles at the top behind you to go get those?
If you want to purchase an upgrade, you don't have to.
No one's going to wait for me. They're going to be shooting me with a gun.
So
come on.
Ignore them. There's a timer. And I've seen people do that too. I've run it enough times where there's always usually 1 out of the 3 people that's doing something else.
Right.
But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I should do a video on my merch collection. Yeah. I just like Destiny stuff, man. Destiny makes good stuff. So, I mean, the jersey, this was a long time ago when Gambit, what is it, Gambit Plus or whatever they call it? I don't even know what they call it anymore because it's been taken out of the game for so long. I like wearing Destiny stuff. I like to represent Bungie. But now another thing I had a problem with, now just for the record, I used that Warlock Arc build that we talked about a few weeks ago. I was melting the bosses before they could even get to them. I had Chaos Reach like all the time, and I was just blowing through the bosses, man. As soon as I saw the boss out, and I go kill some stuff with grenades or that of course that new sentry.
That's probably because you play on PlayStation. The skill level's a little higher on PC, and the people are at my level.
Console elitist. All right. No, I mean
it's not elitist.
No, but here's the thing. I had a question because someone talked about this in the Discord. I noticed the bosses had force fields, shields, but I was blowing through their shields. Was that on purpose? Is that part of the augment or?
It depends.
Oh,
some you won't be able to. Some you will. It really just depends.
There was one instance where I had to. There was one instance. Sorry to interrupt. There was one instance where I had myself and another player had to step in circles on the right and the left, and one of our players was clueless. Was just shooting stuff. I was like, okay, I'll go here and stand in it while I'm getting shot by the ogre. And we took his shield down and took him out. Yeah.
I think even I haven't learned all the intricacies of it yet, and I've probably run it like 8 to 10 times total. A couple times with Sin, but it's probably like 6-ish times on my own. And there's a lot of variety to it, so that's good. I like it. I'd rate the activity itself maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10. But that sounds low. But that's still, again, I'm not doing like an A through F scale. I'm actually doing a 1 through 10 scale. A 6 or 7 is still pretty good. But there's some things that could be better about it. I don't know how much I'll love it in the long term.
JD mentions in the chat the upgrades from the slab are not super clear there. Man, I'm still trying to figure out that. I mean, I'm leveling up the slab. I think I'm on level 7 now. But the Tomb of Want, I'm still trying. I'm running through that beginner mission to do these little things to give you certain things. I've got a lot of the scripture, the crumbled scripture. I got a bunch of those collected. But man, that is still like the scrolls. I have no clue how to get these scrolls on the second page of the Tomb of Want. I don't know how to get those. Them? They're all blocked out.
They're mostly just random. Is how you get them.
Oh, geez. Okay, so I just got to play more.
Nether and Court of Blades.
Yeah, Gambit Prime, Deadpool.
You can get them other places too, but as Bungie said, for all the weapons and all the materials, the most efficient way, you're always like the fastest path. Well, that will be the fastest path is doing it that way. But you can play how you like and get them other ways too.
Okay. Good to know. I just should have just gone to you because there's a lot of these systems are confusing, man. I've been playing for 11 years now. It takes a lot to confuse me on these systems, but I don't know what's different, but it's just not it's just not spelled out.
We explained the Tomb of Want pretty well a few weeks ago, so if other people are still confused, I can kind of give a little TLDR on it again if people want.
It's just I don't know.
I'm not too confused about it anymore, but I guess I get it. But
yeah.
Nothing's changed with the Tomb of Want since that came out, but I will mention some other new things, which is kind of impressive, actually. They added a whole nother basic. We're calling this the vendor, but the thing in the heiress apartment. Mm-hmm. They added a whole nother track to it. Like there's different versions, so you can have resolve or ambition, and as you go through the story, you'll get to a point where. This isn't spoiling anything because you're not like totally takenified, but you kind of like temporarily look like you're going taken. And of course, there's rumors of what's going to happen to us down the road, but they're just rumors anyways. And this isn't spoiling anything because it doesn't actually turn us taken. But when you do that, you switch from ambition to resolve, and then it's a whole new level 1 through 10. And actually, both are to level 12 now. They added 2 new extra things on the original version, and they have a whole nother version, so that's more fun things. It's like a whole nother season pass for the vendor, and they're all new rewards and upgrades and things to do.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of impressive, because I've never seen, usually the seasonal vendors, kind of like what we're calling this thing, a lot of times they could go up to 20 or so, but I've never really seen them make a whole new one, like partially way through the season.
Right.
And it kind of is a twofold purpose because, again, one reason for doing it is because we're kind of this different version of ourselves. But another reason is just more stuff to do. And not only did they add more of that, but they also added the upgrades that you can pick that cost money, or not money, but cost whatever, season, or not season pass level, but vendor pass level you're at.
Right.
We talked about this a few weeks ago. So let's say you're at level 10. You just cut it in half. You can do up to 5 points, right? So you can do like a level 3 and a level 2, or you could do whatever. But they added a whole nother level down below for Court of Blade stuff. So there's even more things you can upgrade and have fun with.
Sigil
more
shards.
Build crafting you can do.
Sigil shards seem to be the main currency for a lot of upgrading stuff, and you can get those all kinds of ways.
They're easy. They're easy-ish to get. Especially, again, if you do the activity stuff.
Of course, my Essence of Desire is capped at 50. Thank you, Bungie. I love that I can't get any more until I spend more.
Yeah, but that's not an issue. You might as well spend it, and that isn't something that's hard to get anyways. So,
all right.
And then there's all that stuff. So it kind of takes you through some steps. There's some things you can do, little side things you can do. All in all, it was kind of interesting. I won't spoil this part, but it's worth getting through week 1 story as fast as you can. In fact, Todd, whenever you want to group up, if it's tonight after the show, another night, there is one of the better, I think everyone will agree, cutscenes of all time.
Really?
Once you complete the week 1 story.
Well, now mentioning cutscenes, sorry not to cut you off, but I'm just got to talk about this when I thought about it. I did see the last final cutscene where Oryx, spoiler alert, I mean, it's been 3 weeks. The spirit of Oryx
for Act 1.
For Act 1, Oryx, you end up there at the court of Oryx, and all of a sudden his figure appears, and you're like, holy shit. But then, he's talking, which his voice is awesome, by the way. Whoever does the voicing on that is doing a fantastic job. It's very scary. But then it cuts out when Zivu Arath. In fact, if I wasn't even looking at her on the left, I would have never known she was talking. But because she's screaming, it's all in caps on the captions. It really takes you out of it, which is too bad because I know it was during the strike, but man, that sucks that they couldn't at least put some AI or something in there.
Yeah, we mentioned that already too a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I know you're
I
just running into it now.
I know. I'm just now running into it. I mean, I understood what you were talking about until I experienced it, though. I couldn't really comment on it. But I mean, even if it was just no, you can't do that, or something stupid, I just really took me out of the moment.
Well, don't worry, because that's not technically a cutscene anyways, the thing you just saw. That was an interactive thing where you're walking around.
Okay.
Yes, there was voice lines, but this I'm talking about is like a legit full cutscene Nothing's wrong with it. It's like one of those
Okay.
things where it takes you out and into a cut scene, and it is one of the best ones ever.
Well,
and
okay.
you see a lot more stuff with Eris
Ooh.
and the Hive Gods and Oryx and oh my gosh, it's just freaking amazing.
I saw also the cutscene in the Eris's apartment where Drifter's like, sorry man, I had to give it a shot, trying to pull something. And I said, I'm out. Don't try to find me. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't do anything. I'm out. And he just runs away. I'm like, oh man.
Yes. Well, good for you, but this one's better.
Okay.
This one's better.
I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I'm Act 2 Rights of the Deep on step 5 of 18, where I have to go around and get these shards. And I've got I got to get one more of these shard. And I love this.
It doesn't take long.
I love this because they give you different areas to explore. I did the Cosmodrome one right away because I love the Cosmodrome. I went around and killed all the bosses that they need me to kill, but I am at just looking at my quest tab here, and thank goodness they fixed that where you can go to your quest tab easily now again. I am at the point where I have to get one more of these rights of the what are these shattered shards? They call it Will Breaker. Anyway, shattered shards. Yeah. That's it. Sorry, shattered shards. Mm-hmm. Just when you get to it, just pick them all up because you never know. I mean, one of them you can do in. You have to do the. You have to do some stuff on the. No, sorry, that's the wrong.
You have to do at least 2 of them to progress the story. There's 5 you can pick up. You might as well pick them all up. And they give you one of these shards. You need 3, but they give you one right away. And you got to do at least 2 more of those 5 things. Yeah. And then it doesn't take long. And then you can progress the story.
I'm at 2 or 3. I got to get one more. And I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go. The ability kills are going to take a while. But you got to kill 50 knights with this one. 50 knights? Dude, that's going to take a while. Or you can go run the Nether. You can do some stuff in the Nether. You can run kill a prophecy boss. You have to defeat a prophecy boss.
Or you don't have to do that one. You can do the or option below it. And I didn't go into prophecy at all. I got them all done pretty quickly. None of them are really.
So prophecy boss defeated or powerful taken?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I had to check both boxes. Okay, I'll go get powerful.
Not for that one.
I'm at 59%.
Not for most of them.
Okay, I'll work on that one. Okay.
Trust me, I bet like you have, especially if like you were like focusing on it or someone was playing with you.
Yeah.
I bet you only have like 15 minutes to a half an hour worth of stuff left to do before you could.
Okay, get to the cutscene. Okay. Yeah, I'll knock that out. I'll knock that out as quick as possible. Then. Okay, good to know. Thanks for letting me know that. Let's see. Bosses with shields still getting damage. That's my notes as far as Court of Blades. That's all I have on Court of Blades. It just went so fast. I just couldn't understand what was going on.
I'm basically done with explaining that part of stuff. I found it because this cutscene was so good. It seemed like it should have been an end of act cutscene. So since the story's continuing on next week, it'll really be interesting to see what happens, and maybe not much. And then, of course, in Act 3, we'll have some other amazing stuff or whatever. But I don't know. All in all, it's pretty good. I also noticed going around in Nether that some of the encounters, they've changed up a little bit. All the areas are the same. The arenas are the same, but some of the actual little mini-boss mechanics are different.
Okay.
And I was kind of impressed with that, too. So, like, just little small things that they didn't necessarily tell us that they were changing that I'm kind of picking up on and stuff.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I'm excited for. I haven't done this yet, but I want to put on some of those new artifact things, like the all the trace rifle stuff to power that up.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet, but I'm gonna take away some of my other things that I don't need as much, so I can. Because we all agree they should give us at least 2 more, if not 5 more, when they open up more things. But let's. I'm sure I can find some that I don't care about enough that I can add them to that bottom level.
Right.
And then, one other thing, and then I want to get to Guardian Games, but this is kind of like seasonal stuff too. You can progress the catalyst for the Barrow Dyad now too.
Yes, I was going to ask if you did that.
I did, and it's really odd. I want to know what their experiences was, because I had the impression from stuff I read from Bungie, and I even thought I saw something else again today, that we would have to go into the exotic mission again. But for some reason, for me, I just got the rest of the Osium fragments that I was missing, those little ghosts in the Nether.
I'm working on that too.
And then all of a sudden, when I finished that, the whole rest of the thing passed off, and I got 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And there was no other steps telling me to go back into the mission.
I got the game open too. I'm going to look at it. I think I opened it up too.
Did you know anything about that, or did anyone else know?
I think I grabbed enough of the fragments as well, and I think I'm on that part too. You're talking about.
You're on a part, or it went away?
I'll tell you where I'm at.
Mine actually went away. There's no more parts.
Let me see. I'll tell you what.
It completed it.
I'll tell you what I've got didactic ascension, unbreakable will acquired. Enhance your control of upgrading progress along the path of resolve.
It's the exotic quest. Do you still have the exotic quest in your? It's the yellow one.
Yeah, it says didactic. It's a quest. Acquire the unbreakable will upgrade from the shaping slab.
Okay. Yes. Okay. You have to do that too. But I did. Okay, so that's one of the new level 12 things.
It's not confusing at all, guys. It's not confusing at all this season.
No. That's not confusing to me.
Okay, fine.
Because it tells you what to do. What I'm talking about, though, is here. Listen to my original question again. I thought Bungie said that we would have to go back into the exotic mission.
Right.
But when I did all the steps, because I'm ahead of you, I did that one step. It did not say I had to go back into the exotic mission. It passed everything off. My exotic quest is gone. There's nothing else left to do.
I could have sworn it said I can go to the shaping table now and upgrade something. I think that's what it said after I collected enough of those fragments, because that opened up something.
I'm not saying what it said. I'm saying what Bungie said. They told us that we were going to have to do the exotic mission again.
Right. Okay.
So, and that's why I'm confused. Did mine bug out and I just got lucky, or I'm curious if anyone else completed it too, or they're like, or tell me something like, Kingsley, yeah, even though you got all the things, you can't fully use them until you go on the exotic mission again. That's what I want to know. But there's nothing telling me to go in the exotic mission, so I kind of don't know if I'm supposed to or not.
Yeah, I'm looking, see what the unbreakable will is in the shaping slab. Okay, well.
Anyways, that's just what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Supposedly I did everything right. Okay, so I don't know why Bungie said
Scarlet Maddie said, Kingsley, you did everything correct. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But, okay, then tell me why Bungie was saying we were supposed to go back into the mission.
Later, Tajo.
There's a different secret mission. But that's not what they
said
either.
There's a different secret mission, he says. Yeah.
What's that in relation to? Is that in relation to all the masterwork?
Takes you into the mission as a secret thing.
You don't have to spoil it, but is that for the stuff that Bungie was talking about? Because again, I don't think they were telling us a secret thing. They were just saying to progress with the Barodiad, you would go back in the mission again. Like a secret perk, maybe? Is that what you mean?
He's still typing.
Anyways.
We'll see what he has to say. But
yeah, no worries. I don't have to focus on it too much.
You know what it is? There's just so much to do in Destiny right now. So much to do in Destiny 2. And you just have to decide what you're going to work on every night. You know, that's the way I play Destiny now. I work on stuff every night before I go to bed. So obviously the next thing I'm going to do is finish the story, because apparently that cutscene is awesome. And I think even Astercross and some of the other YouTubers are like, man, this game is cooking right now with this story. So, okay. I can't wait.
That's why I always think you should do the story stuff first. I always kind of laugh. I mean, I get people like PvP more than PvE, but like new games come out and they just go into PvP. Like Final Shape comes out and people go into PvP first. I'm like, huh? You should be checking out the story first.
I know. Well, you know what I think what the problem is, Kingsley? Every episode we've had some way of doing things differently. And I think people are just give us something consistent that we know, the Bungie way of getting things done. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to purposely make things different every episode to make things to create a newness to it. I don't know, but anyway, it seems like I have to learn something new every 3 months, some new system or something. But anyway, but I'll finish the story, and then I think JD Kent says, what's confusing is how Barodiad gun trait changes depending on the path at the slab you choose, and Eris is flat. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, that's kind of, but I think it's really cool that you have, that's kind of what I was talking about, you have ambition and resolve, and along with another track of rewards and stuff, and other upgrades you can do.
Right,
and
you
stuff.
mentioned that,
so
right. Okay.
That is very unique, and I think that is actually pretty cool, JD. Like, I could see something, this would be so cool, like if at the end of this whole episode, we have like a choose your own adventure, like a path you want to stay on, that you kind of, not that you can't switch back and forth, but we're doing some final mission, and whatever path you pick, it'll be different. Either your interaction in the mission or how you complete it or what you can do. Can you imagine this? It's like a little mini, like a 3-person encounter, or even better yet, a 6-person encounter. And the people that picked Resolve or Ambition or whatever this third one will be for Act 3, I'm assuming there'll be a third one, will have different abilities or different things they can do, and we all team up together. And I mean, that's how you make the game interesting, with like roguelike elements and having things build upon each other and differences and everything like that.
Usually when I want to get together and do something, it's late at night, and I'm like, I don't know who's up right now to jump in and do this, but I probably need to throw it out there in the Discord. There are probably people out there that want to help. So, and I know you're 3 hours behind me, so I should probably ask you.
You can always message me.
I know.
Yeah.
I figured I think you were playing your new game with your wife the other night, and I was like, I'm not going to bother him. I'll get this done. So it's no big deal. I'll get it done. You said there's 15 minutes of stuff left. I'll go crank it out and get it done. That's for sure. Now, I did want to say...
You can go with what you want to talk about. I want to give input on Guardian Games activity, but if you want to take the lead on that...
Let's go Guardian Games next. I just had a few points. Well, I'll just mention this. I did finish Act 1, and I have to admit, the fact that you had to go to all these areas to kill these mini-bosses on the moon, like the summoning pits, man, I've been there in a long time. It was so much fun. And it was challenging enough. I mean, I had my Arc Sop class on, and I just melted the bosses, but... It was fun to do that. There was one part where I had to kill, I think the wizard's name was Erlich or something. It was a you had to go in the deep dark areas of one of the really dark areas of the moon, down deep in the areas in there, and kill this wizard boss. We had to shoot these 3 runes, and I couldn't find a third rune. And it was really tricky because they're all lit up except this last one. And once you wander around this small area enough times, you do finally find the rune, but it's not lit up for you. So that was the only frustration I had from finishing Act 1. But then Guardian Games popped in. So what was your experience of Guardian Games this week?
Well, I have hopped in. I did a little bit, mostly to check out the activity.
Boss rush.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. At first I was like, okay, some other people thought it was weird that Guardian Games is coming out at the same time as a beginning of an act, so there's like multiple things doing at the same time.
That's weird.
That doesn't bother me so much, but what does bother me is, to me, the Guardian Games boss rush activity is very similar-ish to Court of
Yeah,
Blades.
I was just going to say that. It overlaps a lot.
And I'm kind of disappointed just for that fact, because it not that boss rush is bad necessarily, but I was so excited for a new activity, yet we're getting some of the oxygen taken out of the room because it's so similar to another activity that we just got.
Yeah, it's a fast 10-minute activity, except you're going as far as you can, as quick as you can. Yeah.
Also, I want to say pluses and minuses about it. I love how there's way more variations than you can imagine. I've run it a few times, and I haven't run all the variations yet. Who knows how many there are. They have tons you can get. Like, I was running it with Sin some more the other night and running still into new things. They're all things I've done a million times in the past. They're just little story mission bosses from the past, mostly, and things like that. And they're all kind of similar, though, when you go. It's always going to be a time gate because a damage gate, you know what I mean? Because if they didn't do a damage gate with 3 phases, they would get melted even quicker. So then I come into the slight negatives, like it's just not interesting enough. Like, I don't know what they could have done. When I think of a boss rush, and it would be too hard for them to program this, but I would rather like a big single new arena and a boss beams in. We're dealing with that with a bunch of ads. And then a different boss beams in once we kill him. And maybe the second boss isn't damage gated. And then the third boss maybe is again or something. But all we're doing here is we're just going into these encounters we've done a million times.
Old stories.
All the bosses are the same. They have their little damage gates. They're always easy. And then they pause you when you get to the damage gate. And then you just do the stuff. And then it's easy again.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, look, I'm not going to complain. I'm so happy they made... everyone, I was saying, finally, they have a new activity for a seasonal event for a thing like Guardian Games. But again, just some of the wind was knocked out. How, there's so many other things going on right now, and it's similar-ish to Court of Blades.
Go ahead.
One last thing that I find odd too, and this shows how Bungie can be very inconsistent, because I've said this a million times too. Expert modes can be match made. I don't see why they're not doing that, because just because you match make something doesn't mean you have to go in with randos. You can still, if you wanted to do expert Nether or expert Court of Blades, you can't. You got to go into the fire team or do it solo, right?
Right.
But there would be no issues if they match make you. People would figure it out. It's not that much harder. And the reason why I'm saying this again is because they are allowing the match make in the Guardian Games activity on the harder mode. So why are they doing it there, but not letting us have match make on the harder mode in Nether and Court of Blades?
Yeah, I get it.
And it's really odd that this warm-up mode seems to be pointless, really, really pointless. They should have just had the normal mode and the expert mode, and they're both match made, which I'm happy with. And then they should have made match made for expert Nether and Court of Blades. So it's really just my complaints are comparing the two things together. But I'm happy they made a new activity, and it's something. What do you think of it?
Funny story. I went to Eva. I went to Grandma. I got the class item, right? I was ready to go. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to try this boss rush, because I think the first thing was you got to get a contender medal or something. You had to just get a medal.
Yeah, you got to pick up the first thing.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, fine. So I ran the boss rush, the warm up one first, which, by the way, the two really are pretty much the same. Why they have two and then an expert mode, a third, I don't understand why, but I ran in the first boss rush mode, and it was very quick. It was very much like Court of Blades. Very quick, boom, 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 kill the boss as quick as you can. Who cares about all the ads? Just kill the boss. And I did that. Got to the end, and the end, as far as you go, at the end, they send you back to the ghost area at the New World in the final shape.
Well, and the original D1 tower.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But the version of it, yeah.
I'm just going to grab it. I'm just going to look at it right here. Well, they send you back to the staging area for the Pale Heart, where your ghost is, and where you check in with your ghost.
But it
is the old tower. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes,
in that world.
And I'd go up there and I get a hullabaloo or something, and I'd say, I don't understand. Why did I get a medal? And I used Dim to switch over my Arc subclass because I wanted to burn through things, and I forgot the Arc subclass removed my class item. So just a little public statement out there.
That, and I don't even run this.
Make sure that class item is equipped, because once I ran two of those suckers, and I'm still like, what's going on here? And then finally I said, class item. And I ran the third time, and then boom, everything unlocked from there. So just remember, put your class item on when you're running in the boss rush.
Be a Todd, people.
don't do what I did. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was okay. There were revisiting the old stories. It was fun, like shooting Gaul and stuff was kind of neat. That room was kind of fun. I knew exactly where to go because I ran those missions so many times. I knew where all the places were.
Times, yeah.
A lot of the newer Guardians I was with were right down there in the middle. I'm like, get out of there, dude, because I wasn't communicating. But I was up on the side just throwing arc everywhere, man. There was nothing getting near me, and I even put my fusion rifle on, the fusion rifle that sends traces back at you. Anyway, I had the setup we talked about, exactly to a T, that setup, and I burned through everything pretty quick. I think it took about 10 minutes, and we got through all the bosses, and it's okay. You know what, though? Here's the thing.
Yeah, that one's okay for me. I give it like a 4 or a 5, maybe a 5, but
yeah,
it's just okay.
Once you unlock the first, if you get the contender card, if you unlock the very first thing on your contender card, by the way, they literally give you I'm pulling it up. They give you a really loaded trace rifle through the Guardian games, and it is I'll just show you what it is. It is the Curanios. Okay, that's how you say it. Recycled energy detonator beam. I mean, come on, that's a great roll already. And that's actually different from the roll that I have when I got from the Guardian games, or no, the Iron Banner. So I'm just going to keep this roll. I mean, this is a good roll too. And here's the thing, though. The other two returning rifles, the Taraxipus, which is a very, very good strand 200 RPM scout rifle. I even use it in Crucible. It knocks heads in Crucible. It's a really good rifle. The only thing I don't really have yet is the title, because some machine guns really haven't been that great. And but they did talk about the one thing that you did want to get with the title, the God roll that you want to get. It does roll with repulsor brace, destabilizing rounds. That's good to get. Also, for a PvP God roll, they're saying to get threat detector and surrounded or rangefinder with a range masterwork. Those are the two rolls you're looking for if you were looking to use the title in PvE or PvP. So, I have so many weapons that have repulsor brace and destabilizing rounds now that I hate to say this, I'm not motivated to get this rifle, this submachine gun. I'm really not motivated to get the weapons because other than that, and I got the trace rifle right off the bat from my contender, from my, I paid the $10 to get the card because the emotes were fantastic. Really great emotes and stuff they gave you. So it was worth the $10 to me. But the trace rifle, they give you one right off the bat that's really good and complements your other trace rifles that you have. So I have to admit,
there's better rolls for me. I can tell you. I mean, there's a lot of good rolls on that trace rifle, though. That's the thing, like the one you're talking about, and it depends on your play style. But for me, I want jolting feedback more than detonator beam.
But I got jolting feedback and rewind rounds on my Iron Banner one, so I already have an arc trace rifle that does that. So if anything, this new trace rifle is even better. I mean, it complements the other one.
It is better.
Well, I mean, it complements the other one I have, but that's what I was trying to say.
What I really like for the other perk is overflow, because I want the extra ammo for sure.
That'll be great.
So
because it does use special ammo.
Right now I have there's a lot of good rolls, and the one you're mentioning, I'm going to hold on to a few of these. Actually, I could see like 3 or 4 rolls that I would, and I usually don't hold on to a lot of weapons, but with this, I will hold on to a few, because the fact that I don't hoard means I can occasionally hold on to several weapons that I want to. And but I have an overflow detonator beam, but I also want to get an overflow jolting feedback for sure.
Okay.
And then so I'll have both of those to play with, detonator or jolting, depending on the situation.
Right.
And then the one you mentioned too. So
here's the thing. The Taraxipus, I did so much grinding of Guardian games last year. I have such good rolls on this rifle that I really don't need anymore. And now I can enhance it. I mean, look, I've got double column rolls here. I've got 4 times the charm, an explosive payload. I can go cascade point. I can go gunshot straight. And I have 2 other rifles that have even more perks than this on them. So it's a kind of thing where, I don't know. It's just, I'm not super motivated to get weapons because I already grinded it. I have Hullabaloo. Look at the Hullabaloo. I've already got auto loading holster and chain reaction, or I can even go impulse amplifier and one for all. I mean, I farmed those weapons last year. I put so much time in Guardian games last year that I don't know. I just don't know if I'm fully motivated to go for those weapons again, even if they have a new perk, a new origin perk or something. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it or not. So I'm just going to play the boss rush because it was a fun activity. But man, I hate to say this, but other than unlocking my contender card, because there's some really good stuff they have in the contender card, whatever the card's called. The Guardian games card you can purchase for 1,000 glimmer or 1,000. I'm just going to complete that because there's a lot of rewards in that I want, and then I'm done. I'm just going to go back to playing the Heresy episodes and all this stuff. So you don't care
about playing just to help Warlocks win? I don't care.
Dude, I don't care about that anymore. I have all 3 characters. I mean, I remember I'd drive Hazel crazy. I would, if the Titans were winning or they won for the whole thing, I would just go get my Titan character, put on some nice armor, and take a picture of myself next to the statue or next to next to the thing being the highest, it doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter. Everyone has all three characters, but like
Yeah.
you got to pick one that you like the most to win. 'Cause
Obviously.
wouldn't that be nice if Warlock's won?
Obviously, it's Warlock, but you know,
Yeah.
I
don't care either.
I just don't
I'm
care.
just pushing the issue.
I'm just being honest. I
I
just don't
certainly don't
care.
care.
I don't care who wins. I really don't, because that little statuette, next to Shaq's has changed so many times. It doesn't really matter to me. And what do we get for it? Yeah, 99 cap. It's just kind of a seasonal activity now. So what I'm doing is, all right, hold on. I'll go back to sharing my screen one more time here. It is the card I'm talking about is if I go to quest here, look at the rewards they give on this card.
But while you're looking that up,
Really cool emblem, really nice emblem.
At least it did get me to go on Guardian Games more this year than last year because of the
Right.
activity. So everyone has different
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
It's funny, like you're probably going in it less this year than last year. I'm going in it more this year than last year.
Because I played it so much last year. There's a really cool a commemorative steed sparrow here. I've already got hullabaloos with all the great rolls. So like I said, other than just maybe to get the champ, and most of the stuff on this is just banking medals. Just banking medals. It really is all you have to do. Complete contender cards, platinum cards. Okay. Like I said, I don't know, man. We're going to talk about it, Matthew. We're going to talk about the Lotus Eater. Don't worry. We're not going away from that. But yeah, I just want to mention that's really the only thing I'm really going for in Guardian Games. I hate to be such a downer, man, because I like to be positive with these seasonal activities. But last year, like I said, I grinded so much for those weapons that I've already got them. So anyway.
Positive doesn't mean that you have to like it or
Right.
be a shill. Like positive just means you're not being negative.
Yeah.
But we don't have to like it, and that means we're negative. It just means we'd rather do something else.
Yeah, as far as the Lotus Eater, we could talk about that. Do they talk about it in the TWID? If they do, and then we'll wait. But there's some, obviously, some really good rolls. The Lotus Eater you get from playing the Nightfall Strikes, and what I've been hearing so far in the Destiny chat channel in our Discord is that people are having a hard time getting it to drop. The drop rates are really low on it. What do you think?
No, it's normal. It's normal.
Okay.
Remember how much we had to grind for the rifle with the Omnigul strike?
Okay.
In Destiny 1?
Right.
It's always normal like that. It's always, if you're going to do the lower versions
Right.
of the Nightfall, it drops less often. And if you're going to do the higher versions, it drops more often.
Okay.
So I don't think it's any different. It doesn't mean it's what people want, but I don't think it's any worse right now than other Nightfall weapons have been.
Okay. All right. Well,
the drop rate, anyways.
Yeah.
So now, if we hear in another week that I was wrong, and Bungie says, "Oh yeah, it's not dropping as often as it should be," but
right.
I think just so far the word on the street is it doesn't drop super often on the lowest Nightfall version. Well, that's normal. You're not going to get it drop super often on the lowest Nightfall version. You got to run the higher versions to get a better chance of it dropping.
99 Cap did get lucky on his first strike. He got it. Okay.
It's just normal.
Now,
it's just normal. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you play the Grandmaster version. If you play a Grandmaster version, I wonder if you get a guaranteed roll. So I think you can get the adept rolls, right? In Grandmasters?
Well, yeah, I forget the details on that. I thought it was just... I think you do get one guaranteed adept to drop maybe the first time you run it, but I don't... People let me know on Grandmaster. But I think the point is on Grandmaster, especially Double Drops Week, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to get some versions of it on Grandmaster.
Right.
I don't know if it's technically guaranteed or just really, 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 really high chance. That I'm not sure about.
Well, don't sleep on the Taraxipus, whatever you want to call it.
I'm sleeping on it.
I'm telling you, it is a really great scout rifle. It has so much versatility. Especially if you get the double.
I do actually like that one.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, obviously, repulsor brace destab, right? That's what everybody wants. Repulsor brace destabilizing for the new Lotus.
Yeah, if it's void, which obviously
it's a void sidearm.
But but it doesn't mean that non-void scout rifles are bad. But
and it's a double drop, so you'll get two of them. if it's a Grandmaster.
I still think like Arc synergy builds are better right now these days than Void synergy builds. But
I'm going to change your mind tonight. I'm going to change your mind. Void is back, baby. I'm telling you, don't knock it. I used it in the Garden of Salvation raid last week, and I was destroying everything. There wasn't anything alive. Of course, we had killers on our team too that were killing stuff quick.
Everyone was destroying everything.
But,
you can't base it off of that easy raid.
I probably should have used it in some other activities. I used the Arc this week because I was just having so much fun using it, getting all those chaos reaches back.
Void thing is back. I should be expecting streamers to be talking about it soon, right? If it's really good.
Well, I'm going to mention it tonight. I'm going to show you guys live the build.
I really doubt Void is higher than Arc right now, but we'll see.
I'll just show you the build. You can judge for yourself.
No. Okay. I love that you're coming with new builds. I'm not trying to talk that down.
I'm
just trying
I didn't think you were.
I doubt it's better than Arc,
I think they're both going to be fun to use. It just depends what you like best. If you like Nova Bomb or Chaos Reach.
Of course. Yeah. It's probably really good, I'm sure. Yeah.
And it is not a prismatic subclass build. It's strictly a Void straight across build. So, okay. Well, you know what? Speaking of, is there anything else? Are we forgetting anything as far as Act 2? I'm at level 5, step 5. So I got 4 more steps to do, 4 more steps total, and then I have to wait till next week to finish up the story. And from what people are saying in chat, they're keeping everything close to the vest as far as how it's going to turn out. So, okay, that sounds good.
Like Plunder just came out with another S tier Warlock build, and guess what? It's another Arc one. So
okay, isn't it great though? Isn't it great about this game is you can build however way you want. There's so many options on how you want to build.
Exactly.
That's the fun part of playing Destiny.
All the synergies in the artifact right now work a little bit better on Arc, I think.
Well, that's another, and I'll point this out, Kingsley, because there's a lot of Void synergies as well in the new seasonal artifact.
There is, but it's still not as good as the Arc ones.
Okay, fair enough. And of course we have a primary ammo Arc line trace rifle this season, so that makes a big difference. That thing's great as well. Yeah, Arc stuff is great because bolt charge exactly did bring up Arc. I don't know where Arc is better than Void though.
Too, also,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the new action bolt charge. Yeah, that does make it big. The explosions are much larger too. But okay, well later on I'll show you what I built and what I ran for that last raid I streamed last Saturday, and you guys can be the judge. So, okay, Void Hunter's still beyond Arc.
Pulse rifle, I'm not using it.
Okay. Scarlet Maddie did mention. I feel like watching Act 2 stream again because I don't know if they said we would be doing Derealize again, but you're right. They kind of gave that impression, but I think that the different slab and shape of Ambition is maybe what it's supposed to be. Sorry for the late response, but I think all the story stuff is absolutely awesome. They're definitely keeping details close to the chest. Yeah. Zombie, you're going to have to be my wordsmith, buddy. You're going to have to just whisper in my ear. I'm going to have to get a feed. You're going to have to be on your phone, and I'll just have you dialed up, and you can just whisper what all the terms are in the game because my brain is not registering well tonight. So, and
we're in good company. I forget terms too, but you know, people generally know what we're talking about. And then if there's something that totally we confuse you all about, let us know in the feedback and we'll do better.
And poor Kingsley, he tries to keep the info coming straight, and I'm jumping all over the place like a jackrabbit. So
all good.
Yeah, definitely go for a death ditch if you can.
Exciting. It's like going this way and that way.
It's an adventure. It's an adventure. What are we going to talk about tonight, Kingsley? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good deal. All right. Well, speaking of which, let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's get into this week in Destiny.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Jealous Gaming on Guardian Downcast.
All right, this week in Destiny for March 13th, 2025. This week in Destiny, we're playing Act 2 Heresy, and we guess we're doing the same. Have you gotten the new catalyst for Barrow Dyad? How about some Guardian Games weapons? Are you ready to play? Are you ready to check out our topics for today? Here we go.
We are ready.
There we go. Everybody here? Okay, good. All right. How about that early ride of the 9? Okay, so they're laughing at themselves. That's good. Act 2's arrived. Upgrading your Guardian Games class item. Okay. A bit more on PvP tuning. Removing exclusive full screen. Sunder Doctrine show match winners. Guardian Games Rushdown Roulette update. Check our latest Bungie rewards. Let's celebrate Women's History Month, and the next bounty for good is here. Well, that happened. Tuesday was full of surprises, wasn't it? Act 2 shipped with new activities, rewards, story content, plus Guardian games went live, and somehow the 9 decided to throw a wrench in our machine with an early preview of Rite of the 9. Their will is their own. As far as how this happened, we'll keep it short and sweet. Some of the earliest iterations of Rite of the 9 activities snuck their way into update 8.2.5. Most of what was seen was a placeholder. The weapons are very, very underdeveloped. Weapon rewards all feature temporary art and fake perk rolls. The user interface is not what we're planning to ship, and difficulty options don't have the tuning passes that we planned for Explorer, Eternity, and Ultimatum modes. While this was a fun moment for players to explore what we're planning, we're very much looking forward to everyone getting their hands on the finished activities. We hope you enjoy this little unplanned surprise, even if it doesn't represent the whole package. Pardon our dust. As a final note, for all of you who got your hands on the weapon rewards early, we won't be removing them from your inventory. When Rite of the 9 ships, perk rolls will be updated across the board to prevent some of the rule-breaking combinations. In other words, incandescent or chill clip on a void shotgun. Holy shit. But you still retain these rewards on launch day. Stay tuned for future announcements on the actual Rite of the 9 launch date, which is only 3 weeks away. I mean, it's 2 weeks away now, probably because we're toward the end of the week already. So
did they say the beginning of Act 3? Or I was assuming it would.
No,
maybe they did say the beginning.
I know. Yeah. Rite of the 9 was an Act 3. That's an Act 3 event.
Yeah, the beginning or sometime in Act 3. Did they tell us? Like
in the developer update, I had notes where it was considered part of Act 3, like a sneak peek. So that's all I know. That's all I got from.
It may not be the beginning.
Yeah,
it could come later.
Yeah,
for all we know. But
how's Act 2?
Act 3 is going to be long, right?
See, here's the thing, man. On that point, and there's a question later on from our Discord that I'll come back to, but the fact that they're jamming in so much stuff into Act 2, and we don't know what Act 3 is going to bring us, but I have a feeling they have something they're not telling us. Something has got to be up between now and July. Think about it. This is the last episode of the Destiny 2 Light and Dark saga. There's got to be something they're not showing us that they want to surprise us with, because there's no way, and I think you'll agree, there's no way that Act 3 is going to carry us all the way to July or June or July. Would you agree? I mean, we're going to get bored so quick of that stuff.
Well, or do we answer that question in a bigger answer? Even last year with the stuff they added, it didn't carry me through, into
the light.
And also, just because they didn't show us anything yet, that doesn't mean there's a greater chance that there's something coming. You know, if there is something big coming, start showing us now. Like they already was teasing other things in Act 3. So it's like, I don't know that. Yeah, there could. I think chances are there'll be something. I don't know that it'll necessarily be big or amazing. But just because there's something, that has nothing to do with why they haven't showed us it yet or not. So I don't know. Just because, in other words, what I'm trying to say is just because they haven't shown it yet doesn't mean it's some cool, amazing thing, because they're always going to show it to us ahead of time anyways. It's not like they never don't show things ahead of time. So, you know, nothing's ever true secrets anymore. Like they always do at least a week ahead of time, or sometimes they even do more ahead of time. So, I don't know.
There's no reason for Bungie to stop that. There's no reason why they couldn't just surprise us. I don't know. All I know is they're going to have to hype us up going into Frontiers. There's a lot of players that are hanging on now saying, should I keep playing? I mean, I don't even know what's coming up around the corner.
They needed to have been hyping us up these last 3 months.
I agree, man. But, the fact if we follow the calendar or the days left on the season pass, that puts us into July. So I'm going to assume that we're not getting it until July. So, which is good because I'll be back from the UK then. So, yeah.
And July is even later than a year. A year would have been June.
True.
So even technically, if it comes in July, that's not a bad delay by any means, but it's still a delay.
So. Yeah, true.
On that.
It's just that Act 3 being that many days, I'm thinking, what is going to be in Act 3 that we're not seeing other than Rite of the 9? I'm sorry. I don't see Rite of the 9 lasting.
No, of course not.
What?
It's not going to be.
May, June, 3 months? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to last so long.
And also, I could see it lasting a while, but that doesn't mean it's going to keep people interested. Because if you think about it, there was more things going on with Onslaught when it first came out and Pantheon, even though not everyone raids, but the Onslaught, a lot of people were checking out. But this is only a dungeon thing. A fair amount of people kind of like dungeons, but you don't cast as wide of a net without having something like Onslaught also.
True.
And so this can't hold us over no matter if it's 1 month or 3 months. We got to have something else too.
Right.
To be interesting. But okay, maybe this is the time to talk about it. If you want to talk about it later, that's fine.
No, go ahead, man.
There are some rumors about when we're going to get a reveal on Frontiers and when we're going to get a reveal on not Halo, Marathon.
I think, okay. I think
heard those rumors.
I want to hear what you're hearing first. I know that they're probably going to have their own, what do you call it? Like a big live stream or something. I think they're only going to have that exclusively for Marathon, and I think it's got to be coming up soon. But what are you hearing? What are the rumors you're hearing?
Yeah, the Marathon one is supposedly coming up soon, maybe like 1st of April or something like that.
That'd be great, man. I need to hear something because I'm a
Didn't
PvP
you
player.
Say you thought it was coming out in the Game Awards though, the end of the year?
I thought it would. I thought that would have been the most perfect time to talk about it, but apparently there's more of a delay than we're thinking. I mean, if they're still sticking to the
delay, they're giving us the info now, and it still comes out in the fall, maybe.
If they're still sticking to the extraction shooter, unless there's something about this extraction shooter that's so different than the others, or it brings that Bungifying process that makes everything feel good and look good, and maybe there's something more to it than just playing an extraction shooter, then, that there's got to be a reason why we're waiting. So we're still waiting for it. Because the extraction shooter genre, I think, is outplayed. I mean, it's been played out. So that's always the fear of developing a game years in advance, because you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know if that game type is going to be hot by the time you reach your release point. So
well, look, if we're getting a stream in April, it's not going to be that far out. It'll be like fall or something.
I hope not. Yeah,
there's no way we're getting a stream in April for like end of 2026.
I mean, Battlefield 6 or whatever they're going to call it is already having play testing right now. They're saying September of this year, Battlefield's coming out. So, I mean, there's so much stuff coming out this year. It's going to be tough, man. And if, God forbid, if GTA 6 comes out, they're going to kill everything. Maybe everybody's jockeying around when GTA is going to make a formal announcement. I don't know, man.
Well, I actually heard that's coming soon too, actually. Within April could be a big month for reveals. Also, Frontiers is being rumored to be some more information revealed in April. And that only makes sense too, because let's say it comes out in July, you can't wait much more than April to start selling it, because they need to sell things a couple months ahead of time to make money.
They're talking about the new Call of Duty coming later this year.
Excited.
There's so much competition.
So I don't know if like both are going to happen, but I would be willing to bet at least Frontiers and or Marathon will be revealed in April.
Okay.
And that's also makes sense why we're not getting as big or maybe any Act 3 stream.
Right.
I think, unfortunately, Act 3 may not be as amazing as we're hoping it'll be, but they're going to distract us by having good reveals for Frontiers and reveals for Marathon. And then
I hope so,
get all this stuff. And
I'm waiting for Vidocs. Vidocs get me excited. I like seeing the studio working and putting something together.
That's what I meant. Reveal can be a Vidoc or whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I caught that.
Yeah.
But Vidocs, that's the word. That's the magic words I want to hear. That'll get me excited. And they're usually
sidetracked.
No. Sidetrack all you want, man, because I do it to you all the time. No, I mean, we're talking Destiny. I mean, that's why we're here tonight. Yep. We're talking Destiny. So, and there's a question later that asks us kind of something about that. So we'll refer back to it. But going back to to this week in Destiny, they talk about how is Act 2 treating you. In other news, Act 2 Heresy is here, so we expect everyone to be up to date with the current storyline involving Eris, Drifter, Sloane, and certain Echo of Navigation and his wicked sisters. To better understand new developments, jump into Court of Blades, a new activity with more than 20 bosses to defeat. And there were a lot of different bosses, that's for sure. 5 new weapons from the Heretical Arsenal. I've already got the sidearm. There's also a new catalyst.
Are we reading all this word for word?
No, I'm not, but I'm just reading the pertinent parts. So it's the perfect time to jump back in. the exotic mission. And like you mentioned, it says to jump into it's kind of misleading. Are we jumping into the exotic mission? Because you don't show where we can do it. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That is the question still, I'm wondering. And I looked at raid secrets a little bit when you were gone, and
right.
I didn't really see anything that supposes that we're supposed to go back in the mission. So
yeah.
I don't know why Bungie's telling us to go back in the mission.
And they're basically saying, hey, we got the new rushdown, the boss rushdown, get your trace rifles, all that stuff. And of course, the Lotus Eater rocket sidearm, which is from the Nightfalls. And Grandmaster, you get the depth versions. Okay, we talked about that. Upgrading your Guardian game class item. I didn't know we can even do this. In order to everyone to show how proud they are as being a Hunter, Warlock, or Titan, wearing their respective Guardian game cloak, bond, or mark is a requirement for the next 3 weeks. It's beautiful and it's totally worth it. It was my bond was very cool looking. But it also means not using your trusty Artifice class items that hold. Okay, so they're just saying put it on.
Yet we're going to.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Another PvP tuning review.
Well, okay. but the details is we're going to on Tuesday when the update comes out.
Okay.
So
okay.
It's soon.
Yeah.
It basically is the time you guys hear this. So.
PvP tuning review. Over the last few weeks, we've been watching and engaging with combat in Crucible and taking some notes. We've recently taken a pass on Bolt Charge due to higher damage intended in PvP. So with the next update this week, we released some changes this week, they released some changes for Redrix S-Stock, lightweight pulse rifles on the prowl, and smoke effects. We talked about that last week already. And we also shared it in our social media channels. But for those of you who need a refresher, we do not need it. So we'll move on to that. Snap skating, Warlock snap skating is unintended movement technique where players give some advantage in map control and general movement during combat. While it can be enjoyable and fun to master, especially in trials, man, this is so important to get to the point quickly. This presents some rough balance in PvP space, not just 3v3s, but in 6v6. Additionally, it's creating issues with readability of opponents mid-combat. Guardian bodies can becoming warped and stretched when skating, make it very difficult. So in the feature patch, they're going to address that. Closing time perk grants some game stats when your magazine is low, especially when enhanced on special weapon ammo weapons. As always, as players spawn in the low special ammo, for now, wink wink, these stat buffs are most always in the Crucible, making various weapons perform a bit too well in 1v1s. Zealot's Reward, as an example, can hit some pretty far ranges thanks to this perk. Well, don't mess with that perk. I'm trying to get the Zealot's Reward crafted. And the always on nature of its functionality. That's been a function for a lot of perks that are PvE minded, but work because we don't give us much ammo in Crucible. All right, so they're going to mess with that. Hipfire exotics, Tommy's Matchbook, has become a frequent conversation among our online community, rightly so. For many years, this weapon has been a bit of a sleeper in terms of strength of its baseline improved hipfire functionality. With the recent changes to Radiant Dance Machines, we're seeing more hunters pulling this exotic out for some silly hipfire-only builds, like we did with Dead Man's Tale in the Last Word. We're going to tune that. We'll also be re-enabling Dead Man's Tale and Last Word to interact with Radiant Dance Machines with a much more limited set of buffs, okay? And they talk about the Radiant Dance Machines being reworked. It's a bunch of technical terms. Don't worry about it. They're going to tune it where it's not so overpowered. That's all we need to know, really, right? The map lighting. Regarding lighting, we've been watching the conversation around our Trials of Osiris weekend from Solitude. There were a few spaces in the map doors, especially where players could feel blinded by exterior lighting. I didn't have this problem. Or have a difficulty identifying enemy barricades due to the warm lighting of Mars. As such, this map won't be featured in the trials. Okay. Well, at least I got to play it. We're also looking at examples of maps having rough spots where it can be hard to see. We can't promise immediate action or changes. We're looking some bugs filed for future opportunities to either tune the lighting or make changes. Okay. I guess that's newsworthy. Removing exclusive full screen. This has been
one other PvP thing, because we'll go into another topic. I'm surprised they didn't add this in the TWID, because this came out in a tweet yesterday.
Okay.
This is huge news. The 3v3 solo versus fireteam loss protection thing is being affected by a network condition, so they had to roll it back.
No.
And so it's back to the 2-player fire teams will match against 3-player fire teams.
Yeah.
And they will be attempting a fix tomorrow. Once the fix is taken effect, we'll re-enable it. But I haven't seen anything saying they re-enabled it.
I was looking forward to that because I wanted to play Trials this weekend.
let me know, people, if you heard that got re-enabled, but I haven't seen anything since, so I'm assuming they haven't gotten the fix for it yet.
Matthew Gilmore, lighting has always been an issue ever since Beyond Light. No, ever since what was it? The one on, gee whiz. The one with the Trials of Osiris, old Trials of Osiris vendor. Anyway, I think it was one of the very first Destiny 2 DLCs was the light was always killing my eyes when I was trying to be on that planet. Mercury. Sorry. That one came to me.
Funny thing about that, saying it's been since Beyond Light. Beyond Light was when they did supposedly the graphics and lighting update. So when the whole thing, when you thought they changed the engine, but really it was just the graphics part. It was maybe they changed it for the worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I know they upgrade. I know they made everything brighter on a lot of the planets. So that was part of the new engine rework. So yeah, maybe it backfired in some certain areas. Because remember, they're bringing back some maps that were sunset, in Crucible. So maybe they're needing to just look at those a little closer. Maybe they'll have more than just 2 people doing quality control in the studio now. I don't know. When the PC version, it always puts you into full screen mode, which I've had to change several times. It gives the exclusive full screen option in favor of windowed full screen, which is what I use, windowed full screen, so I can jump in and out of my game and toggle other things on my monitors. It will be renamed full screen then. The windowed and borderless windowed options will stay as they are now. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't look over the TWAB today. It's been a hectic day. So
well, it's okay. I can give a little bit of details about this because
please.
Technically speaking, this is very interesting to me. Now, first of all, I only have a single monitor for my PC because I have my other computer set up over here. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I actually wanted exclusive full screen mode because historically, people, I'm sure you've heard this before, and it's really odd that they're saying a different wording now, but historically you'd get better performance in exclusive full screen than windowed full screen. Now, I know people with 2 monitors want windowed because you can easily swap over, but you used to not get as good a performance doing that. So I was happy I was running in exclusive full screen. But they said now their technology partners that do the PC side of the programming are recommending this for actually better performance. So I'm like, that's great. I'm happy for everyone that we can have windowed full screen now and it actually have better performance.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't see any reason why people would be upset about this. Like even me, I have no reason for windowed full screen that I need it, but I'm not complaining. I don't care. I just want the better performance, whatever way it is.
The problem with mine is I have 2 4K monitors. I have one that's 120 hertz. I have one at 60 hertz. I have another monitor that's 1080 and another one over here that's 1080. And sometimes if you get in full screen mode, it won't let you get to that point where because the formats are different.
I know you got to alt tab out of it.
It's a pain in the butt. So
that's why, again, also I think even when you get that many monitors, you really should have just another computer and not do so many things on the same computer.
Yeah, maybe so.
But, yeah.
The Act 1 streamers for the Sunder and Doctrine show match, the winners were Special Hero, Quasar, and Ill Reverence. Took the top spot with a whoppingly speedy time of 11 minutes, 26 seconds. I heard Danfinity was in this too and did it like 17 minutes, which is really impressive, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Danfinity. He's a good guy. Good guy. There's the jacket they'll be getting for being winners and, of course, the pins and stuff like that. The Rushdown Roulette. This is where they have to pick something. Like a different... some kind of
competition teams.
Yeah, exactly. So that is taking place with our creator teams, the Guardian Games Rushdown Roulette. Teams are streaming across this week, so check out their streams and how they're faring and cheer on their favorite class. Let's know about that. They list the people who are involved in Danfinity. He's one of the Titans in North America. Good. A lot of great streamers here. I'm just scrolling through it here for the live stream. And my God, there are so many areas that play Destiny. Isn't that crazy? Some new goodies in the Bungie store. This is the jersey I was talking about. So with Act 2's arrival, that means new Bungie rewards are available for those who want to celebrate in-game achievements in the real world. Starting today, the Guardian Games jersey will be available for all players who complete the Gold Triumph during the campaign Guardian Games 2025, and it's good until April 1st reset. So I'm definitely getting this. You know what? Here's the thing. This jersey I'm wearing now, they had to redo it because the company they used to make it botched it. So they had to totally go to a new supplier and make up another version of it. And it's been really good quality. I got to admit, it's very good quality. It's held up pretty well through the washer and stuff as well, because I wear it to bowling sometimes. And I like their jerseys. So this is like a baseball jersey, which is right up my alley. I love baseball jerseys. So I'll be getting this. It's probably gonna be like $75. Just fair warning. It's not going to be cheap. They've got another t-shirt here. Okay. And then of course we've got, they're celebrating Women's History Month with a special emblem. This is the,
hold on. It's not another t-shirt. Those are backpacks that are amazing. And
those are,
I might actually get the one on the left.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a backpack guy. I don't think I could think about using a backpack as bringing my bowling shoes and stuff with me at bowling, but my bag carries all that, so I don't even have to worry about that. But I know you're in hiking territory. It's probably a big deal up there, and you probably scare all the wildlife with this.
That's not actually the biggest reason I would use it for. Really? Funny enough, I do use it when I go to customers for my computer gear.
Really?
And a lot of these backpacks, you don't have to put them over your shoulder too. They'll have like a side handhold, not just the top handhold.
Sure.
So if you want to carry it like briefcase style, but it's actually pretty normal too for.
Okay.
I feel like wearing backpacks used to be more like a low class thing, but I even see like executives with backpacks these days.
Okay.
Wearing them and stuff. And then also when you go just on trips like Disneyland or wherever, like I go on trips a lot. Backpacks are good for that.
Yes, they are.
And then, for hiking too.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a good conversation starter too. Man, that's a wild backpack. Where'd you get that? You know, you can share that with them.
Yeah.
Happy Women's History Month. The women at Bungie, Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Association, boy, don't say those words out loud, is celebrating the occasion with the Empowered Voices emblem. We're excited to support Women in Games International, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to cultivate resources that advance economic equality and diversity in the global games industry. There's a nice emblem there too. In honor of Women's History Month, everyone that makes a $10 donation to Women in Games International through the Bungie Foundation campaign will earn an Empowered Voices emblem for Destiny 2, and that's good through the end of this month. Okay? Bounty for Good. The wait is finally over. Our first Bungie Bounty for Good 2025 is happening next week. Join us on our Twitch channel Wednesday, March 19th at Reset, when we once again will be hopping into the Crucible, taking on all challengers and raising money for a good cause. This month, we are supporting Women in Games International, of course. Join us and meet a couple of Bungie folks who support the Bungie Foundation, as well as our new community and events manager. It's probably Andy. Those who help us win matches in Crucible or fairly defeat us will earn the Bounty for Good emblem. That's beautiful. Nice emblem. I love my emblems. Player support report. Anything on here, Kingsley, with it we need to highlight other than shit is being broken all over the place?
It's a little disappointed. There's at least 4 different issues for Guardian Games. I won't read all the details, but probably the biggest one is, when I say at least, because they don't list everything in the TWID that are issues, but
sure.
A lot of the daily bounties that you pick up will only show the progress bar for one of the elements of things you need to do. It won't affect the progress. At least that's good news.
Yeah.
But the user interface is really messed up on a few things for Guardian Games. There's also some things where like wording's getting cut off. I kind of shake my head, especially for the seasonal events, because like, remember how many issues we had with the Dawning one last Christmas?
Yeah. You only have so many weeks.
Having these year after year, why are we having bug issues still?
I hear you saying
if
that
they're
every
basically
year.
The same.
I know. I hear you. So that kind of sucks because I like the daily bounties.
So shit is broken in Guardian Games.
There, I'm gonna cut that for a future soundbite. Thanks, Kingsley. Electrifying Artist of the Week. That's a pretty nice picture of a Arc Warlock. There Goes Flawless, Movie of the Week. And we're done. There's a lot going on with Act 2, isn't that the truth? But remember, the Guardian Games are on. 2 weeks left after this week. And you have to make your class proud no matter the cost, particularly Warlocks and Titans. You just can't let Hunters win again. You hear me? Who's behind me? Oh, Crow. How are we doing, Mr. Important Hunter Vanguard? Why are you giving me that Aldrin look all of a sudden? I did what? No, sir. No hunter slander in this twit, I promise. How was your sister anyway? Destiny 2 community team. Thanks for communicating with us again, Destiny 2 community team. We always love that you keep us abreast of what's going on. And we're done. Anything else we want to mention there, Kingsley, that I'm forgetting? I think we got everything.
I'm just going to go to the tower and give a live update of who's won each day so far.
That's a good idea.
But going to give me a second before I get down there.
Okay, good. Well, that means it's time to talk about my new Warlock build that I used last week in a raid. And we're going to do that right when we come back. And then Kingsley will give an update on Guardian games. Hey Guardians, I just wanted to introduce our new sponsors who will be placing ads in the podcast this next season. Zero. Thank you, Patreon community, for your continued support that keeps the show going. And if you're interested in giving back to the podcast, check out the Patreon button on our website, guardiandowncast.com. Later, Guardian. All right, before we get into my new Void build for Warlock, Kingsley, how are we doing at the tower, man? What's going on with the Guardian game so far?
Yeah, live from the tower, Guardian Games 2025. This is interesting to me because I have a sneaking suspicion this will happen again this year, especially when they mentioned in the TWID, don't let the hunters win. Wasn't it the last couple years too, like, hunters didn't win the first couple days, but then they kind of swept most of the other days? Am I right in remembering that?
Man, it's been so up and down. I can't even remember.
Well, I feel like that was the case last year, but It seems to be the case again so far. Hunters have been last place the first couple days. Warlocks were ahead at the very beginning, but so far there's only 2 days, as when we're recording this, that has been counted for. And Titans have won both 2 days.
No surprise. Titans are always really good. They're always really strong.
Well,
and if they win, I'll put on my Titan.
Win it mostly. It always seems to be the case where I feel like hunters don't win the first few days and then they always sweep at the end or something.
Right. Okay. Thanks for the update, Kingsley. All right. I want to share this new build that I just found out. And, basically, everyone's using the ARC subclasses now, but especially in Heresy's Nether seasonal activity, where automatic healing is disabled, Warlock's on demand access to Devour is way too powerful to ignore. But don't worry, this isn't just a defensive build. Power aplenty is on the cards here. The addition of the new Void perks and huge improvements to existing subclass verbs in Heresy combine to transform your Warlock into a god amongst Guardians in PvE. So, Infinite Volatile and Weaken is the name of the game here. So I'm going to go to my full screen here. Go to my Guardian here, and I'm going to show you this build live. Okay, I call this one, I think the article even calls it Void Explosion build. It's really fun. I used this last week in the, here, I'll share my screen, Kingsley. So everyone can see it here in the Discord as well.
That'd be nice for us.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I forget about that. Yeah, I forget about that. Yep, there we go. It's live. You guys should be able to see the screen now.
Cool.
Okay. So on this build, let's start out with the actual super, right? Let's start out with the super. I've already got it pulled up. I already dimmed it over. But on this, you're using a Voidwalker subclass, and you can use, as far as you can use Cataclysm, you can use I like using the Vortex because you can shoot it quickly. It's not going to get in other people's way when we're doing DPS, right, Kingsley? I used this Vortex super on the Garden of Salvation raid, and it didn't seem to affect anybody's DPS. I shot it up high on the last boss, and it just sat there and just burned them. It was really good. But as far as jumps, whatever you want to use here, I like using the Vortex Grenade. This is all up to you as far as how you want to build this part. I'm using the Feed the Void fragment. Feed the Void aspect. And I'm using the Child of the Old Gods. You know where I'm going, right? Aspect for that. As far as your fragments, I'm using Echo of Reprisal. Final blows when surrounded combatants grant super energy. That's important. Then I'm using Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. And yes, we're going to be using void weapons. Third, Echo of Harvest. Defeating weakened targets creates an orb of power and a void breach. So that adds more to your ability upcharge. And then finally, Echo of Expulsion. Void ability. Final blows cause targets to explode. That's a key word here, is explode. So there is the aspects and fragments and the super I'm using. As far as my helmet, of course, got to go near 100 resilience if you can. I mean, I probably can tweak a few things here, but the main thing you want to use for your exotic is, of course, briar binds. And on this one, I've got my resilience because it is exotic. I can get the extra +3 resilience build on it. Kind of like that artifice armor upgrade there. That does require an exotic cipher, by the way, if you want to use it. Impact induction, causing damage with a powered melee, reduces your grenade cooldown. Grenades are important here, guys. Also, focusing strike grants class ability energy when you cause a damage with a powered melee attack. You need your rifts because that's going to activate your little void buddy. That's going to do a lot of work for you. And finally, impact induction, causing damage with a powered melee grants reduced grenade cooldown again. So I've doubled up on those to get that grenade back as quick as possible. For the exotic helmet wise, I've got, it's all about heavy ammo here. I've got the ammo finder, and then I've got also the scout. So my teammates that are playing with me will see tons of ammo bricks everywhere. So that is important there. And I've got a harmonic siphon because I'm using a void subclass. It only costs 1 slots as far as my armor goes. That's going to create orbs of power when I kill multiple things with void. Going to my chest piece, I'm thinking about PvE activities in general. That means harmonic resistance, which only costs 1, by the way. That also solar resistance. I can change this to arc depending on what kind of bosses I'm going to be up against. But I usually like to put on a concussive dampener mod because I hate getting stomped by bosses I get close to. This lessens the blow of fireballs and all kinds of other weapon and all kinds of stuff that's coming at you from bosses. That actually helps with this as well, not just stomps. So that's what I'm using there. On my boots, I'm using a harmonic holster, which only costs 1 because I'm using a void subclass. A harmonic scavenger. Void weapons get bonus reserves when picking up ammo by that weapon. I'm thinking of my heavy weapon here. It's going to be a heavy void machine gun, by the way. And then, of course, void weapon surge. Why not? Because we're using a bunch of void. And that was for Kingsley, by the way. Also, on my class item, I'm going with my usual stuff. Bomber, distribution, and bomber. And you can use Reaper if you decide you want to use Reaper instead of distribution. That's your call. That's kind of a personal decision there on how you want to use your warlock. Weapon-wise, here it is. The Joxer's Longsword. Repulsor Brace enhanced and destabilizing rounds enhanced. This thing, just with ad control, this thing just mows through stuff. And I've got the extra perk, Heavy Ammo Finder Enhancement. Grants increased heavy ammo finder progress with this weapon's final blows. This is going to be the main weapon I'm using when I'm not doing DPS. So keep that in mind. That's good to have as an extra because my recoil is 100 because I have arrowhead break. So I don't need really any kind of counterbalance mod. So when you enhance a weapon, you get these extra little mods here, these little beauties here. And so since heavy ammo is usually at a premium when I'm doing PvE activities, I'm putting this extra ammo enhancement finder enhancement on, which really, I tell you what, I had more heavy bricks than I knew what to do with. So that's a great addition there. Joxer's Longsword, just play Crucible. So I got to do any kind of Crucible, even Trials, and this sucker will start dropping for you. And here's the kicker. Everybody plays any amount of Crucible gets a ton of their Ingrams at the Crucible at Shaxx. It only costs 1 Crucible Ingram and nothing else to focus this weapon and try to get a better roll. And I will tell you, there's a lot of different rolls this weapon can get, so you may have to go through a few. I'm still looking for my legendary Graviton Lance build. I don't have it yet. That's Dragonfly and destabilizing rounds. I'm working on it. I'll get it eventually. And of course, what's good? A good commemoration with reconstruction. I do not have this crafted yet. I want to get this one crafted, but I have to go to Deepstone Crypt to do that. And I'm working on my weapons in Garden of Salvation right now. I haven't played enough Deepstone Crypt to get this crafted yet. So remember also playing any activity, Prism Harvest is always good to put on your Ghost, especially when you get those enhancement prisms. Remember, you can turn in enhancement prisms at the Cryptarch to get more enhancement cores, which I'm always seem to be low on because I like to enhance any weapon that has a decent roll on it. So that is the build. I've got high recovery, obviously, because I want to get my rifts back quickly, and also high as far as my resilience, high resilience. So there we go. Why does it not show any volume in the chat? That is strange.
What do you mean volume in the chat?
My mic is not. Oh, I'm sorry. It is coming through. Sorry, I've got my alerts overlay on as well. I was freaking out there for a minute. So what do you think, Kingsley? What do you think looking at this? Anything you would change?
What do you have for the primary weapon again?
Now, the only reason I use this, a sidearm, because it is anti-barrier this season.
Of course, you're doing double primaries.
Okay, fine. I can go with scattered. Now,
a special weapon is going to be better than even that primary Joxers because specials just take things down faster. So even though I know you love pulse rifles, and I'm sorry, I'm mostly being funny here. This is just how I would do it. But let's say a special trace rifle is still going to probably mow down enemies quicker than that Joxers. So if you're using a primary like that, you really should have a special weapon for your other slot.
Okay, I can do that.
Especially a raid or something like that.
I can do that. That's not a problem. This is the weapon. If you use any weapon that has repulsor brace destabilizing rounds, it doesn't have to be this pulse rifle. This will still work to integrate with the rest of the rolls. And I forgot to mention this too, Kingsley. These are the artifact perks you want to use. And I know I've got it set up with my arc right now, but you want to use Void Flux, defeating weakened targets with void weapons applied volatile to nearby targets. I like keeping my particle reconstruction because, like Kingsley said, I'll have a special weapon on. This is what I hate. I have to go through my latest one. Seriously, to refund this? This is such a pain in the ass. So you want to go with Maligned Harvest. Rapidly applying volatile causes your next instance of void weapon damage to create a weakening burst. We'll refund that. Also, you want to use right here, Volatile Marksman. Rapid void weapon precision hits, by the way, and void weapon final blows grant volatile rounds. That's a no-brainer, right? So I think I've got, I think I used King's Prestige Vestige or something for one of these, but you get my point. There's a lot of really good void things you can use here that work really well together. I'll refund that. I'll put back on this.
It looks good for a void build, but I still personally think you're going to get more damage protection with Arc these days because here's the thing. Devour, yes, it heals you instantly, but you don't even want to get to that point. You want to have more damage reduction than worrying about healing. So Devour is really good, but in my opinion, if you can have more damage reduction, which all the Arc can do right now, then you don't even have to get to the point of needing Devour. This is my opinion, but it looks good for it.
Like 99 Cap said, the Void Soul, all it does is just sit there and just apply weaken to everything. So once you shoot at something and not kill it, the Void Soul will go over to all those adds and just start melting them. And that's adding back to your Devour.
I wasn't talking about offensive. I was talking about defensive for yourself.
Right.
If we want to go to offensive, so I think defensive, the Arc build is stronger. But if you're talking about offensive now, this actually looks pretty good. It does look like the offensive side will be shooting out a lot of stuff.
Right.
So that's pretty good on that.
I actually used a variation of this build in PvP, and that little Void Soul was so good in PvP. And I have a build for this for PvP as well. I think True Vanguard likes using this build as well. I think that might have where I got in one of his videos, but using this setup in Crucible is really nice too. Obviously, you can put Blink on, which I always use in Crucible. But Jimmy JD Kent still not giving up on me. Put that glaive on, man. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Do we have any? We do have a Void Glaive. Actually, I could get a Void Glaive. That's right. I could put a Void Glaive on here. It's the one you got.
And the other question is, what are you going to use because the machine gun's fine for general, but you kind of, it's not the best still for DPS on bosses and raids.
Well,
so would you move like a linear fusion?
This one right here.
Or something, you know?
Got Reconstruction, High Impact Reserves. It's a Mistral lift. This is from the last Dawning event. I'm building, if you notice, I'm building this one up right now. This is something I can use because with Particle Reconstruction, it's really good on bosses. And by the way, I did switch, when we did do the final boss encounter, we weren't getting the DPS numbers. I did use, my Queensbreaker with my Catalyst. So keep that in mind. Yeah. The main reason I came up with this build, I was playing Nether activities the other day when I was doing the story. I put my Rift down and my health just went up like the slowest amount, and it gives you maybe 25% on a full charge of Rift. So with the Devour,
much bigger pool. Yeah.
I think it's the way to go.
Yeah.
Devour is awesome. Yeah. And also the Overshield. Exactly. Cause every time you pick up, if you go back to, your aspects and fragments here, you're getting a Void Overshield when you pick up a Void Breach. That's another.
Okay. Let me see what that damage protection is compared to Arc. I wonder what the Void Overshield does.
Well, the Void, there's an aspect in here where you pick up either a Void, what is it? A Rift or whatever they call the little Void thing, elemental thing, or an Orb of Power. You get an immediate Overshield. I use this in Crucible a lot, by the way. It's
it does look like it's potentially a pretty strong percentage, but it lasts a lot less than. So I can see why this is better almost in PvP than PvE, because I would rather have like more overall damage protection that lasts the whole time than like a little boost of health and then it goes away or whatever, and then you rely, because think about it this way. It's always better, like let's say you have a really strong, the iPhones, they have really strong glass covers these days, right? Like, so when people drop them, they don't break as often.
Right.
But wouldn't you rather also have a screen protector on it so you don't even have to rely on that?
Sure.
So it's like, if you have the protection layer on top of it,
right,
what a lot of the Arc does, you don't even have to get to the point of worrying about healing and stuff. But
okay.
I'm just being critical. I'm not saying this is a bad build. I'm just
no problem with it. No problem with that. And
there's so many good builds in the game. And whenever you do a build, you definitely want to look for some kind of protection and some type of offense if you can. And this provides both of that.
Yeah.
I think the offense is really pretty darn good. I haven't looked at all the numbers on it.
I had 2.7 million on that last boss, and of course I was using the Queensbreaker. Full, but I did throw a Nova Bomb too. Really. I did throw a Nova Bomb at the very beginning when I was doing damage on it. So, I mean, look at all the options you have here. Domineering. After suppressing a target, you gain greatly increased mobility and you get reload. I mean, there's so many options here. Melee Final Blows, start health regeneration, plus you get 10 resilience. Void buffs applied to you have increased duration. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can do this. Void grenades, Void grenades weaken targets automatically, so that bypasses a lot of things there. But this is the one, Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while your shields are depleted grants you a temporary Void Overshield. I use this all the time in Crucible, and it has saved my butt so many times as a Void Warlock. So even I was looking right here, the last one. Picking up a Void Breach or Orb of Power grants Devour. How easy is that going to be in a PvE activity? I mean, you have a ton of options here. Finisher blows, you get invisibility. Say you need to go, maybe one of your teammates is down and you need to go pick them up and you don't want to get slammed by the boss. So you do a finisher on a minor enemy and then go invisible and go pick them up. I mean, you have all kinds of things you can do here. Defeating weakened, that's currently applied already. So yeah. So Void is still very strong, folks, especially when you combine them with the seasonal artifact. There's really good Void setups in here. That, and of course, even the dreadful finisher, you do a finisher and it gives special ammo to everybody. I mean, you can't beat that. So, and hold the line while surrounded, machine guns and glaives gain increased reload speed and stability. Final blows heal you. I'm using a machine gun, but yeah, I agree. For DPS, the machine gun would probably not be the way. You'd want to go a linear fusion rifle. And in that case, like I said, I'll go with, I have a couple Void linears here. I have this one, the Doom Petitioner. loose change reconstruction.
When you're talking about DPS, it doesn't even have to be void. All you want to do is you just, because again, Queensbreaker, it's not anything like that, but you just want to match your surge mods to whatever you do. So if you happen to be a void linear fusion, then be sure you have void surge mods, which you probably do anyways with this build. But technically, you could do like a solar or an arc linear, and then just have a solar or arc. Just
a personal aside here, Bungie, please, for the love of God, keep powering this thing up. I want to use this so bad. I want to use the Darcy so badly in PvE activities for DPS. I know you buffed it a little bit. It's still not enough. It's not overpowering the linear fusion rifles. I love this. This is my favorite sniper rifle in the game. And they just gave it such a wimpy amount of power. And it's a heavy sniper. It should be powerful because you're using heavy ammo to fill this sucker up. So come on, man. Anyway, I just had to get that in just in case someone at Bungie listens.
Whisper has been good at times, but Darcy never really has been too good at times. And I just don't know if it's ever really will, just because it's kind of a different aspect of a gun.
Well, like I said, it's hold on, let me get this screen.
Whisper just has so many things going for it, so that when the snipers are in a good spot, then Whisper will probably always be better than Darcy, unless they can do something really unique with Darcy. I don't know, Yeah, machine gun and glaives. I know, JD. We're gonna run a raid one of these days, man. You're gonna show me how you work that glaive, man. I want to see it now. Now, I'm really proud of myself. When I was doing the boss rush yesterday, I was using that glaive that you saw in my inventory. I felt powerful as hell. And whether I was shooting it like a shotgun, with a burst, and man, it reloaded so fast. Let me see what was that? Hold on. Let me see what that was. That was, now that we can use the edge of concurrence on all our characters, this little bad boy here is fantastic with an arc build. I can't put it on because of this right here. This little bad boy, I'm ranking it up. I'm ranking it up too, but I do have the lightning seeker on it. And, once you build up a few kills with it and you, hold down your reload button, this thing just blasts away as far as arc damage. This is really fun. This was really fun to use in, the boss rush yesterday and in the cord. I used it in the Cord of Blades as well. With the arc build, it was really destroying stuff. So 2 really good builds there. I mean, 2 really good builds for warlocks. And I think a lot of these aspects you can use on the Void I'm talking about, you can use on other characters as well, like your hunters and your titans. I think they have these aspects as well. So you might even be able to use this on because I know Void Titans are strong right now as well. So just saying, we've got a lot of options out there, a lot of cool things you can build right now. So, I just want to mention that because I actually put the link in my last stream. If you guys want to, and I'll put it in the show notes. I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes too, for those of you who are listening right now and want to, hit the dim link on that. I'll put the dim link in the show notes as well before I release the podcast, the audio version this week. So yeah, there it is. Just want to let you guys know about that build. And that's probably one of so many types of builds that you can do in this game. And the reason I had the Traveler's Choice on is because it was, when you're killing stuff with that sucker, you can reload, you can charge up your abilities so fast. And if I was just happen to be lacking in other areas, that's the reason I had that on. But you can use anything for your primaries. Is just, as long as you have one weapon in there that has the repulsor brace, destabilizing, or repulsor brace, what is it? It's the other one. It's like destabilizing rounds, but it has it's called, demoralize. Demoralize does almost the same thing. It's a very close cousin of destabilizing rounds. Try it out. It is so much fun to use. So yeah, Cap. It's funny you're mentioning the Edge of Concurrence arc glaive. Actually, the newest arc build that Plunder was showing, that's S tier, is using that weapon in it.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't want to kill too much time. I like I said, I just wanted to mention that build tonight. I know people have mentioned in some of our surveys in the past that it'd be nice to get some little how-to stuff like that. And usually I might have added that later as a Destiny help desk like segment after our live show, but I just want to mention it for everybody tonight. So, okay, we have some questions from our community, and then we're going to wrap things up tonight, guys. Be right back. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, finally, before we leave the show tonight, we have some questions from our community, and we're going to get to those right now. We have a new member in our community, Barsh Roar. Do Guardians feel new Strand and Stasis supers are overdue, and are Bungie missing a trick and not giving us some? Also, more aspects across all classes will be awesome in my opinion in terms of keeping people playing. Look at the fun people are having with the new aspects this season. Discuss. Won't make the show live tonight as the time difference in Scotland makes show in the middle of the night. I get it, buddy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you putting the question in there. So what do you think? Strand and the Ice Show not getting enough love. What do you think, Kingsley?
Oh, no. I mean, if you're just going based on how long things have gone in the past, the other classes go a lot longer than Strand and Stasis have gone before they've gotten new supers. So I don't know if overdue is correct as far as like in comparison, but I wouldn't complain if they got more stuff. There's just so many, that would be a lot of work, and there's so many other things going on right now. That being said, I'm sure something will be interesting in Frontiers, but I hope it's not just that. I want something more interesting than just a Strand or a Stasis super.
Here's the problem with Stasis. You still have to go through that painful method of getting all those aspects and fragments. You still have to go to the ice planet Hoth and run all of those little mini missions over and over and over again in order to get those fragments and aspects unlocked. So that was the most painful. That was the most painful thing, is getting those aspects and fragments for the Stasis. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Now, I'll tell you this. There are some warlocks in the Crucible right now that are using Stasis and are just killing people. I mean, it's still very powerful, but as far as adding new stuff, I mean, sure, why not? Why not add some more, like a new verb, like they did with Arc this season? I'd be open to that. I mean, anything that it opens up our class, creating more different builds. I'm all for that, man. That's for sure. So
yeah, and I feel like on the aspect side of it, it's not that bad. I mean, we got new aspects this time, and it's not like we do every episode or season or everything, but I feel like the aspects, I would love more also, but the aspects, in my opinion, isn't like that behind on adding new stuff. I guess the question is, if people were to take a survey, even though I guess Strand and Stasis would be up for getting new supers next, do people care about those ones as much as the other ones, like Prismatic, Arc Void, Solar?
Yeah. If you ask me, I think they need to.
Word on the street is, especially in PvE, word on the street is not many people care about Stasis.
Well, the problem is PvE. Prismatic uses both. I mean, you can use all kinds of different of the darkness subclasses, mix in with it. Yeah. I think I'm really surprised they haven't added more aspects and fragments for Prismatic, because for the longest time there, I wouldn't put it down. I had the best of both worlds. I had the dark and light subclasses mixed together. It was so much fun to use. I don't know. I think if anything, they should go with more aspects and fragments for Prismatic. I think that's the future of Destiny, is the Prismatic subclass. I think it was something they mentioned that they brought early to Final Shape that they weren't planning on bringing to Final Shape, but they had to put a little extra spice on it, right, to get people excited about it. And I'm so glad they did,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love that.
But then they've kept working on the light subclasses since then, so it's not like those are going to be going away, I don't think. Why would they put all this work into Arc and then it's going to go away in Frontiers, you know?
I guess not. I mean, it really surprised me because I thought they were going to go the other direction. I thought they were going to keep building on the prismatic, but I don't know. I think I know. I think, you know, there's
too many things for them to work on right now. That's the problem. Is like
limited team.
What's next? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Limited team. Okay. Well, thank you, sir, for that question. We have one from Deadpool 1 Merc here. What is your favorite?
Is that Destiny or not Destiny?
This is under Destiny.
Okay.
What is your least favorite raid to teach or Sherpa? I'm just going to say it quickly because it's last wish for me. I hate that raid. Always hated that raid. I still don't understand some of the deeper concepts of some of the. Understand how to do it. I understand what they're talking about, but those symbols are so freaking convoluted.
You teach your Sherpa that raid?
I know I don't, but that would be the word. That would be the one I would not look forward to trying to Sherpa.
Question.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that last wish is hands down the raid I would never want to Sherpa. Never want to Sherpa.
Well, once you actually can Sherpa it, most
get
people that know it, trust me, it's not hard.
Okay.
Anyways,
what would be your least favorite?
My least favorite to teach or Sherpa. Probably Ron. Now, I'm going to exclude the newest raid just because I never really got to a point of being able to Sherpa or teach that. See, I'm being fair with the question. Since I can't Sherpa or teach the new raid, I'm not going to include it. But I think I would actually like teaching it, though, the new raid. Because for the time I did it, a couple times I did it, I liked the raid enough.
All right, I'll answer the question, Ron, too. Go ahead.
Ron, the reason why I don't like teaching or doing a Sherpa is because it has a different style to it than a lot of other raids where there's a lot of misconceptions people have of like what jobs are easier or harder and a lot of things that can go wrong and different opinions on how to do things. And it seems messy to me too, especially when you're trying to go through the jumping puzzle. There's no reason you need to have that messy of a in-between encounter. And then you're having to teach things for like in the second encounter when people are jumping back and forth, you have to be able to teach people how to do jumps certain ways too, which are different for each class. Because depending on which class you're doing, if you don't do the right jump, you may not make the distance. Like warlocks are funny. You actually have to kind of like almost like look up when you're jumping and don't hit your second one right away, or else you may not have it for when you to reach the other side. So I just feel like there's so many things about that raid that are kind of messy. That's why I don't like teaching or shipping that one.
Yeah, and things can get out of hand in that second encounter. It can get really crazy. Things don't work right, and it just gets frustrating. I will say this. There's not many raids. I got a handful that I can Sherpa, but I remember back in the day we would Sherpa the Leviathan raid, just the first one, the basic raid. That one part where you had to do the directional signals, the red light, green light stuff, where you had to shoot a certain red light, green light, and then you had a runner that was running around you had to open up stuff by shooting the symbols. Man, that was so frustrating to Sherpa. And people just got so confused standing on those podiums and trying to shoot knowing when it was their turn to shoot that stuff. That would probably be, if we're talking about a raid that I did Sherpa, Leviathan would be one that, it was really like tough
doing that because of that part. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what I thought about that part. I think you're right where I don't know that I didn't like Sherping that one, but I think you're right on that part. Like a lot of people couldn't really like understand that well. So it kind of was hard to
Dogs was tough too, because people got lost in there. So easily got lost in the fog, I guess, down there in the dog pen, where they're trying to sit by their dog and shoot them all at the same time. I was a pain in the butt. People be at the wrong dog. Dog, come over here. Oh, we're out of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I kind of another thing I don't like teaching, even though I can teach it perfectly fine, is getting through the Gorgons in
Bog.
Yeah. You know why? I don't like teaching it?
Why?
Because no one listens to you. They still run off and do their own thing.
Is there a secret chest over here somewhere? What are you doing over there? Reset.
Yeah.
I know.
And there's so many misconceptions there too. Like you should stick together. You don't have to stick together. If people know what they're doing, they can go ahead and do their own path. But then if they mess up, you kind of get pissed off because if they would have stuck with you, then you would have been fine.
Yeah.
So
You have to reiterate so many times, guys, butts on butts. Let's go. You got to stay as a group. You got to be close and run and run. Yeah. People don't realize.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's go with one or two more here. Let's go with Oda Yukamura, which I haven't heard from him in a while. Hope he's doing okay. I know he's a student. He's trying to finish his studies. Question for the show. What's the most OP exotic weapon and why is it still sweet business? Seriously?
I feel like we get this question often.
He's got to be a Titan. He's got to be a Titan main. No, I don't think it's the most OP. In fact, it's
now it's Queensbreaker.
Yeah, it's a Gatling gun that tells everyone in the Crucible, hey, come over here and shoot me, guys. Here, I'll rev it up for you so you know where I'm at.
But that is a fun weapon, I have to admit.
It's a trolley weapon, I guess. Have you had anybody bring that into a raid before? Remember back?
I feel like way early on, like when it was newer,
right,
a couple times, it was never really the option. But where it's better is in Strikes or Nightfalls when it was doing pretty good. But it's PvE. It's like, why? I mean, it's fun, but it's like, and then what you said in PvP, it's just a troll thing, or
right? Yeah, I mean, I've had whole teams with those on being Titans. With the see-through barricades, I've seen him do that.
That could happen.
It could be annoying.
Any weapon, right?
It could be annoying.
All Telescos or all
Rat Kings.
Rat Kings.
Get those matches too. Yeah. Or all, what's the grenade launch everybody has? It never runs out of ammo. The Lions. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go with this Destiny question and we'll call it a night. It's from Oda again. Question for the show: with a 10-year roadmap ending, what is next for Destiny? Another set of DLCs or Destiny 3? Well,
we know not Destiny 3, even though I want there to be, because Bungie has basically said that. So,
we can rule that out.
It doesn't mean it's never happening, but the earliest I would see it's happening is 4 to 5 years from now. And that would only be if they change their mind and start thinking about it a year or two from now and then announce it a year after that.
I don't know if they're going to be a Destiny 3. I used to think there was, but I don't know so much now.
So DLCs is the answer. I mean, Frontier is technically like a DLC. It's a yearly big update. So my guess is, in some aspect, whether Destiny ends in a couple more years or they eventually decide to make a Destiny 3 or something, we're going to have at least one more. Well, okay. It's a very small chance Frontiers would be the last year, but then there's a much bigger chance the year after Frontiers could be a last year, and hopefully there'll be something else coming. But so another 1, 2, 3 years of DLCs is kind of my guess right now.
It's going to matter on two things for me. One, how popular Marathon becomes. If Marathon bombs, then I think a lot of people at Bungie that are working so hard on Marathon right now are probably either going to come back and make sure they work on their flagship game, right? And make sure it's stronger.
Or they'll get fired.
Or they'll let go. That's very possible. Yeah. It's very possible. So
it doesn't necessarily
There's no guarantees. So Marathon being successful or not, it's going to have a big impact on the future of Destiny 2. And some people will disagree with me there, but I don't know. I think right now they have a limited staff, and I think a lot of their energy right now is really pushing out Marathon. I think Sony is really hard bent on getting that game out this year. So we'll see. Like you said, April 1st, maybe we hear something about Marathon. I know I'm still humming that damn song from the first teaser trailer they put out. I mean, that was an awesome trailer. One of my top 3 trailers from Bungie. And now the other thing would be how Frontiers is received. If they can't get back a lot of the player base of Destiny 2, and it continues to go down every season, then they might just see the writing on the wall that it's time to, go to something else, try to make something else with Bungie. Those two things are going to be pivotal this year to see what happens as far as what 2026 looks like. I don't even think they're even thinking about it.
They've always fired people recently the last couple of years. Why wouldn't they just do that again if Marathon didn't do well?
All these firings, it seems like these studios are just like hiring people for projects and then letting them go, like on contract work. There's something to be said about keeping your base talent. I mean, a lot of people who make Destiny now weren't here years and years ago. A lot of new faces at Destiny now, and you don't want them to lose that spirit of the game. The people who made this game what it was in the early days of Destiny, even, a lot of those people aren't here anymore. So that worries me as far as creativity goes, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what Frontiers does. Apollo and Behemoth. Okay. Whatever, RNG. We'll have to see how those two big DLCs land. If they don't land well and the numbers start to dwindle, then I think Destiny might be in trouble. We'll have to see. It's all going to depend on what's this next big saga. It's not going to be Light and Dark anymore. So what's the saga going to be? Where's the big baddie? What's the big boss?
And then you'll say the same thing at the end of Frontiers when it's not doing good. We'll see what the next big thing is.
I don't know. I don't know. I used to be a total Destiny shill. I'm definitely much more realistic now that we've gone through a lot of strife with Destiny 2 over this last year. So we'll have to see.
I feel like the majority of people that dropped off, it really was because of this year, not the wait and see for Frontiers. So it's like
lost opportunity to me.
The true diehard people, if Frontiers is just okay, not the best, they're going to say yet again, we'll see what's coming forever and ever and ever. But people are dropping off because at some point, enough is enough. And for a lot of people, that was this last year because, boy, going down to the... Actually, let me see what player count's been the last couple of days.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I know, we're at probably 50% of the numbers it used to be years ago. I know we've lost 50%.
Oh, no, it got down way more than that. When it was down to like 19.
I'm sorry, but if you look at the average of how many people come back, that's what I'm looking at. When a new DLC drops, what's the numbers then compared to the past days? I think it's a lot lower than it used to be. Lightfall was what, 300K? 300K people. It was like one of their record setting, and then they fell short with that DLC. And Final Shape saw lesser numbers because Lightfall really hurt the player base. Yeah.
So when the beginning of Heresy came out, it got up to 78,000 for the high. Now when this came out on Tuesday, Act 2, it got up to actually, hold on, that's the wrong one. I'm looking for it got up to 67,000. So it's still got a good bump, but right now, that was on Tuesday. Right now, the last 2 days, we're hovering at, so let me 1 second here. We're hovering at about 45,000 for the high.
That's Steam. So yeah.
That's for Steam. Yeah, that's always the numbers we go
triple
off of,
that number. We're at about 100K probably if you take all the consoles into account. That's still a lot
but
of
it doesn't even
man.
matter the tripling or not. It's just that I'm looking at the trends.
That's like an index. Like an index.
Highs and lows. Yeah.
I got you.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe that'll be another episode down the road as we get to know more about what's coming with Frontiers and Marathon. That's really to me, that's going to be the deciding factor.
50,000 for the high the last couple of days. That's still lower than the lows were in 2021. The lows were 75,000. Those were the lows.
That's what I'm saying. It's a smaller player base that is coming back. You have to, Monster Hunter Wilds is going on right now. I've been seeing RNG play a ton of that. There's a lot of competition for games now, and the games have gotten better and better and better. Who knows? In 2014, I think Destiny was the hot shit.
It's not just because other games are good too. It's like a lot of people are getting bored of what's in Destiny.
Could be. Burnout is a real thing. Absolutely. I've had my moments of burnout where I just have to take a week off.
Burnout for me. Burnout's like I play too much. It's boredom. It's just not enough interesting stuff going on.
And like we've talked about, there's all kinds of different players who get different things out of the game. So
I'm
a little harder to bore because I like doing bounties. I like checking boxes and stuff where you want to explore more and you want more rich stuff to explore and look at.
But you got to wonder though, if the majority of people have stepped away, are they more players like me or what? You know what I mean? Because
Bungie will never know that. Bungie will never know that. Yeah, they say they have I remember when
but what can you assume though, since the numbers are still right now? It's almost like you have to assume that because if there were players like you, wouldn't they still be playing? Yeah,
I don't know. People have moved on. Here's the thing about gamers. We're very focused on our main game, our main squeeze. And when Destiny's not our main squeeze anymore, it has less pull on us And you really, like I said, this is where I've come up with ideas like create more bright dust opportunities in the game. Get people back into wanting to grind for those cosmetics and stuff other than whipping out the silver wallet, you know? They can monetize this, but you got to be careful. You're going to cannibalize your own player base that's been loyal. I really think if they went to, there's so many things we talked about in the past. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but there's things they can do to bring people back, and either they don't have the manpower or they just don't want to do it. So I'm I'm going on year 11 of Destiny. So I'm still here. We'll have to just see. It's the perpetual question, it seems. So, okay.
Yeah. What can get back the majority of people? What do they have to do to get all those people back?
What was it about Destiny 1 that got people so hooked? You got to go back to those moments. And
it was new. There was lots to do.
Destiny, I was just going to say, Destiny 1's probably not a good example because it was the newest thing on the block. Destiny 2, what was it that got people when Rolk, or not Rolk? Yeah, was it? No, not Rolk. When the big Cabal dude, kicked us off the ship. We lost all of our light. We need to have a moment like that again. We seriously need to have that moment.
There's lots to do.
Yeah, we're starting from scratch. We got to build our arsenal back up again. That's what we need, guys. That's
exactly.
What we need.
Destiny 3.
I give up. Okay. And maybe JD Kent mentioned, he says maybe they're going to pull a Rainbow Six and Frontiers will be Destiny 3. They're just not telling us it's Destiny 3. Gaul, thank you, 99 Cap. Yeah, Gaul, when Gaul kicks you off.
It can only be a Destiny 3 if it's new. They can't call something Destiny 3 and if it's not new. And new means like we have to start from scratch. Yeah. So if we're not starting from scratch, it's not new. They can't call it Destiny 3.
And you know what the sad part about all this is? New players can't have that experience where Gaul kicks you off the ship. They'll never be able to experience that. They got to watch a video instead. It's not the same. It's not the same. So, and Guardian ranks, maybe that's helpful as far as getting people to check boxes to get stuff unlocked as they play the game and get to learn how to play the game, but it's not anything compared to limping into the EDZ with nothing but the damaged pistol on your back and broken armor. You got to go back to that moment.
If they brought that back, that's not going to be bringing everyone back.
No. I'm just saying we need a moment where we felt like that, where we had to start over, and we got a limited arsenal back.
I agree on that point.
That's what we need. And but the question is, are they going to be willing to go that route again? Or are they just going to keep spoon feeding us with a lot of the same stuff? If they do, then who knows what 2026 holds for Destiny 2? We don't know. It's a good question. I know we get it a lot, so I figured we'd end on that tonight. So. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. It was a good show. And, if you hit our live shows or our replays, you'll be able to see the builds that I put together tonight for my Void Warlock with Volatile for days. Check out that. I'll put the dim link in the show notes. I'll try to remember to put the dim link in the show notes so you guys can check out that build, especially if you're a Warlock. I think you can build something similar for your Hunter and Titan as well, probably with some extra perks that Warlocks don't possess. So, as long as you look at the aspects and fragments, I know the aspects are different for each class, but a lot of the fragments are the same. So check out that and see if it works out for you. The cool thing about this game is you can build stuff any way you want it. So thanks again to my co-host Kingsley Mac. Always great. He comes every week and we get to discuss a few things. And it's always a good thing when your co-host doesn't always agree with you. We don't want to just say a bunch of yeses and I agree. It's good to have a little conversation, with in podcasts. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And like I said, I want to give a quick shout out to our patrons of the show because they give back to the show and community. They replace the needed funds that we would otherwise, have to get from sponsors and advertisers. And it all, like I said, goes back to our community, all our community management cost, our production cost, all that good stuff, hosting fees. I mean, all that stuff adds up. We pay for certain things in our Discord community. We use a lot of services, like our SpeakPipe service and things of that as well. So, we thank all of our patrons, especially our Dungeon Champion patrons, Technical, Raffi, and Deadpool1 Merc, and Darth Noodle. And a thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Thank you all for giving back to our show and community and supporting a listener supported podcast like this one. So I hope you guys are enjoying Guardian Games and, Act 2 of Heresy. Hopefully you guys are not too confused. I mean, I know I'm confused on Tomb of Want. There's a lot of things that really confuse me in this game because I'm just not used to the systems or how they work. Hopefully you guys are not having as many problems as I am in the game, but I'm really enjoying the activities. The story is really good this season, this episode, whatever you want to call it. And I really encourage you guys to play the story missions in this. It's been really, really a lot of fun. And the activities, like I said, I'm not bored yet. So the activities are a lot of fun. They have a lot of challenge to them. The new boss rush mode with the new Guardian games. Go out there and get your Taraxipos scout rifle. That is such a great scout rifle. No matter what the sandbox is, it still performs well. So, and the Hullabaloo, the arc grenade launcher, it's a wave grenade launcher, a heavy wave grenade launcher. I use it a lot of times with my arc builds. It is a lot of fun to use. So don't sleep on that as well. And of course, the new trace rifle. There's been so many trace rifles out lately. So I guess it's the episode of trace rifles, but yeah, hope you guys are enjoying that. I know Iron Banner is coming up soon around the bend again. We'll be able to finish out and farm more of the, trace rifle that it is from, Iron Banner as well. I think that's going to be out in a week, 2 weeks, maybe a couple weeks. It's probably a couple weeks out. I'm always looking forward to playing with the community. So that should be a lot of fun. So how are you enjoying the new Heresy content? Let us know. You can email us at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or you can talk to us in the Discord, discord.gg/guardiandowncast, or send us a voicemail. If you haven't figured that out yet, I love voicemails. Speaking of which, Uncle Scumdeath has come by for the episode this week, and he has a 2-parter for us. So, Uncle Scumdeath, what's going on across the pond, sir?
Hello. Well, it's been a while. Oh, I've even forgotten. Hello, and welcome to Scumdeath's Corner. It's been a while. Not done one of these in a while. Sort of, I don't know where my head's been. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for all the lovely birthday messages for yesterday and shit. Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you. I'm always here. I'm always looking. I'm always watching, reading, not playing very much, but I need to get that sorted. But, yeah, just life shit going down at the minute. So yeah, so I just wanted to say, thanks to everyone. I love everybody. And, I'm still here. I'll still be doing it. I'm still fucking around. And I've just found out that Gator is coming to the UK watching a band. I've not seen what band it is on the 19th of June. And it just so happens I'm going on my first holiday since 1994. I'll be in Cape Verde, an island off the west of Africa, something like that. Yeah, so Gator comes. Oh, no, I'm fucking not even going to be in the country. You can't write this shit. It's really pissed me off because
he forgot it's 3 minutes now. So here's part 2.
Hello. This is part 2. It's obviously been a while because I didn't realize I've only got 90 seconds. So yeah, as I was saying, I am not happy that I'm going to miss the Lord Gator when he comes to the UK. That is so annoying. I would have gone to the ends of the earth to see that boy. But, well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be around, and that is a right pisser. Yeah. But, anyway, right, I think I am going to, I'm going to crack on. I've got some dog shits to pick up. Back to real life. So I'm going to love you all and leave you, and I shall speak to you soon. Love you all, guys. See you later. From your Uncle Scumdeath. I'm still here. Yo.
Thank you, Uncle Scumdeath. Yeah, I can't believe I'm not going to see Uncle Scumdeath. Man, I've seen you guys do all the get-togethers over there, the hangouts with the UK crew, and the pictures are always fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to visiting the UK this summer. We're getting all our travel arrangements in order as we speak, in fact. And I wanted to go to Plymouth, UK. I heard that's a great seaside town. I mean, from the pictures I saw online, it looks like a beautiful little city. So maybe I'll still stop by there because I want to see how your cityscape's looking, sir. I want to look at all the gardening and all the flower beds and stuff. I want to see what you've been up to, brother. So sorry we can't meet. That's okay. Maybe another time in the future, but I'm really looking forward to going to the UK this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be for my birthday as well. So kind of a double whammy. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. You can all blame this on Mr. Hayoka, by the way. He's the one who bribed me with concert tickets to come visit, and I could not pass up this band's concert tickets. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody over there at the UK. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, haven't been to, I think it's been 13 or so years since I've been to the UK. I'm really looking forward to coming back. So, absolutely. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collections. For our listeners out there that are new, we have 294 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. All kinds of different Destiny talk and all that good stuff. And remember, roundtable episode next week with our buddy Sin Media. Should be a lot of fun. So, take a look at those. You can go to guardiandowncast.com. If you have anybody else that's playing Destiny and you want to refer them to us and say, hey, you got to check this podcast out. It's one of the last Destiny podcasts out there. It's left. I'm kidding. There's a lot of Destiny podcasts still out there, but, yeah, guardiandowncast.com. It's all you got to tell them. It'll tell them where to go for the Discord. You can listen to past episodes right there on the web. So, we appreciate you in advance. Special thanks, of course, to my co-host, Kingsleymac. You can find everybody in our Discord. I'll have the links in the show notes down below as well for our other host, RNGGator as well. All his contact information will be in the show notes every week as well. So absolutely looking forward to our roundtable episode next week. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass, Mr. Kingsleymac. Remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
The weight of the world was on your shoulders, and still you triumphed. Marvelous.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. Thanks, everyone in chat. You guys have been awesome tonight. I love the comments we've been getting. I've been trying to show a lot of them on screen that are in my YouTube channel, and I've been keeping an eye on the chat as well in the Discord. We thank everybody for coming out tonight because this was awesome. I just love interacting with you guys. I don't get to do that.
Yeah,
I don't get to do that very often in the Discord because I'm working and I get home late and I want to play, and there's so many different things pulling at our attention these days. But it's so awesome that you guys spent the time to come out here and hang with us tonight. And I really love doing that. So thank you guys. Well, that is it, Kingsley. That's our show. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. I probably packed a little bit too much in tonight. I get that way. It was a last minute show tonight, this week. And I was thinking, okay, what else can we talk about? What else can we talk about? But apparently there was already a lot of stuff to talk about. So we did run long tonight. I apologize. So we'll get that corrected next week. Next week, by the way, is our roundtable episode. And Kingsley, who are we going to have on our roundtable next week?
Oh, so you want me to announce it?
Go ahead.
I'm good with announcing it.
Go for it.
I'll watch. He won't show up now. Sin's coming on.
Sin Media. The original Sin Media is going to be on our show. Yes.
Good old buddy. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm sure a lot of people know Sin, but
he's
Sin
one of our mods.
Is basic. Yes, he is, of course. But also, and we'll talk more about it next week, but he and I started the Guardian Hub way back in the day, and one of the main people that we started one of the communities back in the day, and also just being involved in Destiny, playing together whenever I see him online. I'm always wanting to group up with him first. All right, Gator, you're first and a half. I love grouping up with you also.
I get it, man. He's your OG. I get it, man. I understand.
Exactly. So,
I got no ill will. I actually, Sin popped in the chat one night and I said, man, I missed this. I miss Sin. And he's always so much fun to talk to on the show. So he'll be bringing a topic next week.
Fun attitude having on, so that'll be good.
Now, important podcast note here. We will be starting an hour later next week. It'll be 10 p.m. Eastern because he has to get off work. And, his job is crazy. It's, and we're just lucky to have him next week. So we'll have Sin Media on next week on our roundtable episode. Maybe a fourth member. Haven't locked that in yet. I've asked the patrons. No one came forward from the Patreon community. So, I may start asking around if someone else is coming.
Again, with what we've seen week after week, I'm sure even if it's us three, I'm sure we can pad it long enough. You'd be surprised.
I can always add.
Maybe you don't need it for it.
I can always add another topic. Don't worry. There's so many topics to talk about and so little time. That's for sure. So, all right. Thanks everybody. You had that dun, 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 special that would appear, on before the show would come on.